Hey, Parlay Pete, sorry for starting late. I had a conference call. Then I was doing some homework. Then I was being a bad husband because I just like hadn't talked to my wife all day. And I was like, I should go talk to my wife because she's not smiling. Let me see what's wrong. You haven't talked to me all day. You're right. I'm going to leave my phone in the office so I don't look at my text messages or keep looking to see if Pierce's text or called me. And I'm going to talk to you because you matter. You're important. And I'm not going to do a great show if me and the wife are beefing. So, late start, but what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. And to quote Wood Harris in Above the Rim, no, actually to quote Tupac Shakur in Above the Rim, to Wood Harris, Motar, handle your business. So I understand, man. Hell, I think I was the cause of the delay last week.
I think it was 2 weeks ago, but who cares,
Well,
right?
And as you know, with that, we're not gonna talk exclusively about it, but obviously I think I sent you guys the screenshot. So we got that deal done. So I'm real.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm real.
That's good shit.
Yeah, I'm very fucking happy about it. Like, really happy.
And I'll tell you, that's the one nice thing about having a co-host who has a kid and is an adult. When we got adult stuff going on, it's not on some, bruh, you late. It's like, yeah, nah, like I'm grown.
Yeah.
Like, I remember a good friend, won't say his name, was writing a TV show sophomore year of college, and he got it greenlit for them to record at Clark in their studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as he's putting the team together, he fires off a text message at like 2, 3 in the morning. And bro, you know how it is like creative, like you have an idea, so you want to like shoot it out. It wakes me up, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like thinking I'm late for PT in the morning. I'm like, oh, I gotta go run, work out. And it's
Right.
like, hey man, we're having this meeting at this time, this time, this time. I see him the next day. It's like, hey, bro, don't text me after midnight. And be quite honest, I don't want you to text me before noon. Text me between noon and midnight, wide open. Before or after, And he was like, nah, bro, see, you ain't as passionate about the work. We can't have you as the main part of the team. Like you can be support staff, but you can't be on the creative team because I got to be able to reach my team whenever I need to. At 20 years old, fair enough. Yeah, I get why you feel that way. I wish a motherfucker would think they could need to contact me at 3 a.m. and I'm supposed to respond. Now,
Right.
are you crazy? I don't even need my phone buzzing at 3 a.m. because I'm texting you at 3.
There's that aspect of it too.
It's the group text. I thought the group text was silence. It is. Now I'm in hot water.
Well, more importantly, outside of the one person now that lives on the West Coast, well, two, I guess, because JP, but I mean, everybody else is probably asleep at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Or certainly, even if they're not asleep, they're trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not talk to me hours.
Yeah. Maybe they're fucking something. I don't know. But like, just depends. Where they're at, what's going on, all this other stuff. Like, I don't know. But
hey, this is our last Women's History Month podcast. And it's one of our last for me in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Closing tomorrow. Not for sure when we'll have the full setup going at the house. Obviously, gotta get the internet set up and shit first. But here's what I want to talk about briefly about women's history. In the last 2 months or so, I've had a few conversations with a few different women, and all of them have talked to me about their anxiety and how they suffer from it and how they're getting treated for it. 10 years ago, I didn't know what anxiety was. When Genuine saying, I'm so anxious. I didn't really know what he was talking about. And I know whatever he was ain't what these women are going through, right? Like, he just trying to get some ass. And they're like really in like fight or flight mode, like what's like I'm in my head, what's going on with me. But I kind of want to just take some time to think about, why do you think it's a bigger thing? Is it because we know what it is and we've put a name to it and we've put treatment behind, and there's probably some big pharma dollars behind it? Or has Me Too and calling out the terrible behavior by men and others and the predatory behavior of the patriarchy that's existed now being called out as wrong, and the feelings that come along with learning that certain behavior that you received is wrong? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a lot more people, men and women, but specifically women, are suffering from it. And I don't know why.
I think that a lot, of course, the older that we get, I feel like we learn more, and it's not just learning more about the world, like, in our environments and everything around us, but we do learn more about ourselves because we're getting introduced to, there's more things. There's more, typically the older you get, the more responsibility that continues to come on. Like, think about it. You're closing on a house tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are different things. Like, these are different, we're getting introduced to a different part of our lives, and I know, obviously, like, I'm sure you may have heard of this too, and obviously you're already there. Shot, not really, but that, basically when you enter your 30s, you're basically still in your 20s, but with just more money.
Fucking right.
So, and then I guess, for the most part, which of course there's some people that get
married. Are you not 30 yet?
No, I'll be 30 this year, but I'm not 30 yet. I am outside of Dale and obviously Justice, just because they're younger. Out of everybody in my class, I'm the youngest. I'll be the last one to turn 30.
And no one's turned 30. Has JP turned 30 yet?
Yeah.
JP
turned 31.
Oh, JP's my age.
Yeah, he turned 31 this month.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. None of y'all have had a birthday yet. Julian will be the first one.
Yes, him, and then Josh follows like immediately behind.
Then Boink is in June.
Boink's in June, and then
Gambles is young as hell.
Matt just turned 30.
Okay.
Gambles is when is Gambles' birthday? Is it in October?
I don't know, but Gambles is young.
Maybe Gambles is younger than me.
Back to the women.
His birthday is October. Point being, I think that this more things, just like, anxiety, I think depression, I think all these things that are more psychological, right? Which they come with, the territory of realistic things too, but like it's a lot of it to me is mental.
It's one of those things where it's mental, but because it's in your head, it's real. Like, it's real to you. It may not be real outside of you. And for our mental health warriors out here, this is not, we're not knocking what someone's going through or their experience, but it's like a fear inside their head that does not exist outside, but because it exists in their head, they respond as if it is outside. So it's real.
Yeah. Well, and then there are real life, like, things that are happening that are putting more pressure on it to where it creates an even bigger hole within the person. So I can't say, and maybe obviously because we're not women, we can't say exactly because we're not women, but just even looking at certain women, why I would think that maybe anxiety is such a big deal. I feel like there are a lot of factors in women's lives that they feel like they don't control, right? Like, that could create more of that pressure, of that anxiety coming up, whether that be having children. Like, obviously, if they're having sex with a dude and he doesn't have a condom on, there's always a chance, right? But like, they still don't really control if the nigga's going nut, like, or what, like, you know what I mean? Like they like that's something that they don't have any control over.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the workplace, it feels like as if they're not really in a position of where they're in power. So it's like a lot of stuff is determined by another man, typically, or some shit.
And
Or
the sad thing,
possibly another woman, like, but like mainly another man.
yeah,
Um,
patriarchy.
Obviously, even within a house, certainly if it's like a mother or wife or um, even daughter of some, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's just a lot of external things that create that internal buildup and then when you don't, and then, a lot of people don't feel like they can talk to somebody. Like, a lot of people don't either. They don't know if they can trust somebody. Like, that person may be a trustworthy person or somebody that you can speak to that, like, there's so many different factors. And like, it's like you said earlier, it's not just women. Obviously, men go through it too. But I would think that maybe just from that women perspective, maybe because it seems like there's less things that are in their control. And then vice versa for men, it feels like everything is in their control. So if things aren't going right now, it's all on you. Like, this is your fault, like, type shit.
I'll tell you an interesting thing that interesting conversation Julie and I had, I think it was Sunday night. He called me about some stuff while we were watching women's basketball. It was maybe Monday, but one of those days. And I was like, man, look, women do a bad job of making friends, making and keeping friends. And
now that's a fact, though. That's like that is much more factual that women are way worse at keeping friends and getting friends.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have the facts and stuff to back it up, but it goes back to I've seen it. I have a lot of women who are friends who have a very small friend circle. Like,
they hang out with one or two chicks, and then most of the time they're hanging out with dudes. And it doesn't mean
out with dudes
or nothing either, but they just prefer hanging around a dude. Like,
either they're hanging out with dudes or their dudes' friends' chicks. So they're not even their real friends. They're all just cool because our dudes are friends. We got to be around each other. Right. But we were talking about it, and the woman told me, she's like, I disagree. And I'm like, yeah, I know you disagree. Talking to you right now. Didn't say that to her, but that's what I thought. But I'm saying that to say that I've made friends everywhere I've lived. And from 2014, when I left Atlanta, I went back to Cartersville, to Virginia, to North Carolina, to to California, to Bahrain, to California, to Albany. All these places, I've made friends. And not even like friends who I talk to in depth or nothing, but I've made friends who I hang out with, and I've had a vulnerable moment at some point with all of them because, dog, you drink with somebody enough and go out enough, one of them days you're going to be in your feelings, and you just going to kind of just get to talking. And maybe because it goes back to the control piece that as men, we are somewhat in control of so many things. And, we shoot a shot at the woman that we want, right? Women rarely come up to us and like make advances at us. Typically we're like providers, like we're paying for the date, right? We're picking where we're going. Also, we don't walk outside thinking we're going to get raped and robbed.
That too.
So, and then our machismo is like, I wish somebody would try me. I would beat his ass. I shoot that mother. You know what I mean? Like, we feel like we're okay. Whereas women oftentimes feel like they're subject to being victims.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not calling women victims, calling women weak or nothing like that. Just saying, I think for one, society has done women a disservice by the amount of interdependency that they've said that they need from men. And even like in the correction to that, I think there's an overcorrection where it's like, I don't need a man to do anything. It's like, all right, well, You carry that 50-pound bag of dog food up them steps. You know what I mean? Like, you whoop his ass. Yeah, that 180-pound man right there, average size man, you whoop his ass.
You set up the fucking TV and do all this other shit.
Right. You change the oil.
You build it. You DIY your shit.
Right. But I'm getting that to say that, hey, gender roles have changed a lot, but there are separate gender roles for a reason. And I'm not telling you which gender role should be separate in your house because it's your house. Personally, I cook way more than my wife. I do most of the cooking. Like I whether I'm home or I'm working, like fucking cook. I love to cook. So I cook. That may be considered a woman's job. No. But
every grown man should be able to cook for themselves.
Man, every grown person should be able to cook for themselves.
Yeah, every person. Yeah, let me not say, but because the thought is women already know how. There are some women that don't know how to cook.
A lot of these new age women.
The general where it's fucked up. If you're a woman and don't know how to cook, that's a problem.
I agree. Like I thought about wearing a Spelman jersey again because it's Women's History Month, and there's a lot of women who came out them pearly gates who can't boil water.
That's what I'm saying. That's a problem when you don't know how to do certain shit. Like it's a problem if you're a man and if you catch a flat, you can't change your tire. Like there are certain things where it's like
gender aside, you should be able to change a tire.
I mean, I think women should, but like I would understand if a woman didn't know how to do it. But as a man, and I had to learn that the hard way when I was 18. If I could have just learned, if I didn't know how to change the tire at the time. If you're driving a car, you need to know how to change the tire.
And hook up jumper cables.
From that day forward, I learned how to do it. Like I learned how to do it on my own. Granted, I have AAA and shit. Like, so if I catch a fucking terrible flat or something, or
what if you catch 2 flats?
Well, or if I'm wearing some shit that I'm not trying to get dirty in because I was headed or something like that. Look, it don't bother me to call AAA to do it, but like at the same time, if you got a flat tire and your car is sitting at your house, change your fucking tire. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, it's a life skill, man.
I'm just saying with women for cooking. It's just weird if you don't know how to cook. Like,
they say let me stop because
women are less clean than men. Too. That's another thing, cleaning. But like, have you ever been
how to clean?
How many women's bathrooms have you been in?
My wife keeps our bathroom pristine.
Okay. I'm just talking more about the sink area, probably more than anything. It'll be hair.
No, bro, no. Let me tell you what. I hit the jackpot because they talk about the passport boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a passport boy. I'm more like a green card boy. So, my wife was born here, but her parents weren't, right? They're naturalized citizens.
Mm-hmm.
From Latin America. Latin American women are very domestic, even if they have jobs and stuff. So there are a lot of like domestic things that are ingrained into my wife. Like, I never see hair in the sink. Occasionally I'll see some in the shower, but even when I see it in the shower, it is all of her hair in one big hairball that she like put together, and then she forgot to take it out and throw it away. So I can just grab it, pick it up, throw it away. Like, right. Honestly, I leave more hair lying around because you've known me for over 10 years now. I just started having hair.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not used to what happens when I actually pick my hair out. Cause you got low cut, bro. You ain't no damn hair nowhere. Like, this shit going.
Yeah.
And now I've been having like hair flying everywhere. And she had to say to me, hey, bro, your hair is all over the fucking place. It's gross. Clean it up. So now I pick my hair out like in the shower when I deep condition it, and then like I get it all together, or I'll pick it out in here and let the Roomba pick it up. But either way, I keep it out of the bathroom communal area because man, anyways, let's close this up. I just wanted to take some time and talk about this because it's just, I think it's important. And I think that we need to do a better job as humans of making our society more comfortable for the people who live in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say the difference between flirting and sexual harassment is if he's cute.
Yeah, well, it happens, right?
It does happen. So don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to, son. If you don't get eights, don't flirt with no eight at work. Harassment. But hey, young lady, if he's flirting with you and you don't like it, you tell him. You give him a chance to stop. Because he might be creeping and don't even know he ain't even a creep. He thinking you fucking with it.
Or just leave it at the simple. If the dude, like if he's complimenting you, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Then if he keeps going, just ignore it too. I mean, there's that too. Like,
bro, you know every dude don't listen to being ignored.
yeah, but those are niggas that have problems. Like they just got their own. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're around somebody, you know, like they have a mental issue, right? Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if they keep talking, like, I just keep ignoring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hope that it would never turn to something fatal. I don't even think I told you the story. We went to London. The first time I went to London, it's late at night, walking by. They have a Ferris wheel type thing there.
Great airport, by the way.
Yeah, I've been to both fucking Heathrow and Gatwick, but Heathrow is, I'm assuming, is the one you're talking about.
Talking about Heathrow, yeah.
Yeah. Very big airport too. I mean, it's huge. But
sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to offend by doing this right here. I'm not throwing up your gang sign. You should be your frat sign.
Well, you could just pull Austin Rivers and do this. You know, I don't know, but which I guess we'll get to him shortly. But nonetheless, yeah, but got harassed by a dude that I clearly could tell had a mental issue. Like he had a mental issue. He was a black dude too, and he was homeless, but like, or appeared to be homeless, but clearly had a mental issue. He was almost trying to pick a fight with me because he was trying to say something to Couture, and like it was just.
You're one of the least let me fight this guy type of people I've ever met in my life.
Well, because I don't think it has to come to that. I think there's only certain situations where it should. Typically, if it's going to come to interesting, I'm getting a random call from somebody. No, it's just weird because
Do I know somebody?
No, I just met this person.
Oh,
but it's weird because our interaction was very short. But they're calling me. They're not even texting me. They're calling me. So nonetheless, what was that? Okay, yeah, no, because it doesn't have to get to that point. And to me, if it ever does get to that point, then you probably do need to kill the motherfucker. Like if it gets to really to that point, yeah, there are some times where putting your hands on each other can be appropriate. But for the most part, if it got to really get to that point, you probably got to kill. I mean, that's what this sounds like to me. If you got to get to getting physical, like I'm not gonna let somebody just put their hands on me or just say anything to me. But like, if it has to get to the point at where, because now you're being aggressive, then that means you are not only initiating it, but you're being very aggressive about it too. At that point, I don't think we really should get to that point.
Well, I'm just even like your demeanor, like the way you handle shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen you pissed off before, but even your pissed off was not fighting pissed off. Like it was not I'm ready to fuck a nigga up pissed off. It's just I'm really pissed off.
It's just disappointment, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Like
it's just like, man, I can't believe this. Like,
because you know what I'm talking about. Like the last time I saw you like super pissed, and it was.
Oh, you talking about this shit that I'm looking at right now? That I still I still have to deal with that.
But the whole vibe of it was very much dad sitting down and talking to you like, son, I'm really disappointed in you. Like, why would
I
you
don't understand why somebody knew, bro. It's just like, say something. Like, just say something. Like, we're grown men. Like, for real. Like, I'm not even mad it got broke. I'm mad that nobody said nothing. Like, fuck it getting broke. We all make mistakes. Like, you know, but to not say that'd be like me coming home when I was like I came home and my bottle of Louis was, first of all, the bottle was chipped, but then like half the liquor was gone out of it. And Couture told me basically, because I had it on my like my little alcohol cart, I didn't expect Mariana to be able to just go over there and do that either. Like, because if she's being watched, it shouldn't get to that point, right? Like, she should never be that close to that. But I get it; it's kind of out in the open. But she told me, obviously, like, yeah, like Mari got into it and it tipped over. And like, I wasn't gonna be mad at my daughter. That bottle, I will get another one. Like, like it's not worth it. But like, if she hadn't told me and just act like it was there, yeah, I would have been upset, because it's just like, so you don't know what happened to it. So somebody else did this one other night, and I'm just now recognizing this. Like, you know what I mean? It's just more something like that. Like, it's obvious something happened. Like, speak up.
That's no fun.
Yeah, that's all that was, but for that specific situation.
But I was saying, like, you if you were to almost get into a fight or get into a fight and it's your fight, not you defending a friend or defending your brothers or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, there's some crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
Like, because I just feel like you're above fighting, and not saying like in some emasculating way at all. It's just like, this is stupid. We get nothing from this. Like, what are we getting from this? Like, 'cause, some dudes talk about, yeah, nah, dog, bro. Sometimes you got to fight your friends. No, you don't. If I got to fight with my friend, we're not friends anymore. More than likely, like.
Now, and I don't condone it, but there's a story within our group. I won't even name the names, but two people in the I was about to say the office, the locker room, got into an altercation.
I got into an altercation with somebody in the locker room, and we're still good friends.
And I don't even know if it was necessarily an altercation, because it seemed so one-sided. But he basically randomly got punched. And I don't even know. Huh?
Are you talking about the altercation I had in the locker room?
This happened in Pensacola between two
No. Oh, yes. So like, yeah.
So like,
wasn't
even
that
something
guy
like that,
in that guy's wedding still?
Yeah. So like, I don't know what it was though that got to get to that point to where that would even be a reaction, especially because it doesn't seem like the other person would do anything. I don't care how drunk he is to get to that point on either side, even you being that drunk. But apparently that was kind of basically that he was blackout drunk. But I also don't know what he could have done to just want to, like, because it's one thing to push somebody too. It's another thing to cold cock somebody in the fucking face, bro.
Well, I punched somebody in the locker room post college, and that person called me a bitch more than one time in that night.
Did this person live in San Diego at any point?
No, he was visiting San Diego, but he lives close.
But wasn't he living there too?
Not that time. He stayed there for an extended period of time, and you may have came and visited.
I just want to make sure. I figured this is who we were talking about. That's all I want.
Yeah, but it was. But we talked about it the next morning. I was just like, hey man, I was like, bro, my bad. Like, that ain't even how I get down. But like, you can't talk. You just can't use that word. You can't call me that, dog. Like, hey man, stop. Do it again, bro. For real, stop.
Right.
It's not, at this point, it's not even a word. Now it's just, hey, I asked you not to do something because it makes me feel this way, and now you're continuing to do it. And you're my friend, so you're disregarding my feelings.
Right.
I know that sounds so sensitive, but it's like real. Like, hey, bro, can you respect my feelings?
Right.
Well,
stop.
It goes to the conversation we had in the heated conversation in the locker room earlier this week, right? Once it got to a certain point, conversation's over because no one's trying to hurt anyone's feelings or cross the line. Niggas are trying to make a point, but there's a level of respect and love that we have for each other that no one's going to cross a line knowingly just to make a point for the sake of making a point.
Right.
And I'm happy that we're 30-ish years old and we operate that way.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be like you don't have to be that way. Like,
hey, can I take issue with one thing that you said though?
What was that?
When you said that you're not going to change anyone's mind.
I tell you what,
I didn't like that.
What I probably meant more by that was that I'm not here to change anyone's mind. Maybe I can, but like,
that's fair because, and let me tell you why I took issue with it. Because we have a lot of great conversations in that group. I mean, good conversation, bad conversation. I mean, your brother can sniff out a fake Instagram model page like no other and market to the real person. And I've never heard of any of these people a day in my life.
Me neither.
Like, and he does it so quick. Like he's great. So the conversation can go from political policy to sports to empty sack ENT to so many different things in like at the same time. And
these things that are going on, current events within one's life.
Right. And some of these conversations can be all going at the same time. But I participate in these conversations to learn, to become a better human being, right? Get different perspectives and get closer to right. So when you said like, I'm not going to change anybody's mind. It's like, no. New information needs to change people's minds. Like if we can't change each other's minds with factual information or situations, perspectives that one trusts, like if you told me, hey, we shouldn't go to this bar because they treat black people like shit. And I go, well, I like that bar. Look here. I'm in Atlanta all the time. I live here. They don't like niggas. Once you give me that new information, I should think about that bar differently. I'm not saying I'm just going to never go again.
Right.
But you've given me new information about a place that I thought that I liked.
Well, you can keep it in the back of your mind, or the next time you do go, maybe watch out for subliminal stuff being done, or, you know.
But yeah, I say all that to say that, locker room's a place for us to come together and learn. We call it the locker room, honestly, for nefarious reasons. But if you've ever actually been in the locker room, that's what the locker room is about. It's about talking, conversation, learning, and some of the wildest conversations with people who shouldn't even have those conversations. And there's growth because there was a conversation in there that we were having that I won't bring here. But it's a funny one. And it was centered around that stuff going on in Uganda. And and one belief set towards it and another's belief set in defense towards the outrage of what was going on. And, things are just ironic.
Right.
You want to talk about some sports?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Yeah, I know it's opening day and the Braves beat the Nats. Yeah, big fucking whoop. But we're talking football because football is king. Arthur Blanks made headlines this week.
Yeah, this is his first time making headlines since
about this time last year when he was
the Deshaun Watson stuff, sure. But even I don't think, because there were multiple teams doing it, that it wasn't as bad. I've never seen a game in the Western Conference.
I got some audio.
Pull it up.
Arthur Smith said this morning that Desmond Ridder, last year's draft pick, is going to be your guy. Your thoughts on that?
Well, he's been he's picked in the 3rd round last year, and he had a great career in college. He played in 50 games, won 44 out of 50, and played at a very high level, and probably one of the top all-time college winning quarterbacks. And all those reps and snaps and winning in big games is very important. I think since he's come on our campus, he's been a natural leader. He's worked hard. He's learned a lot under both coaching, and really, he worked very closely with Marcus Mariota last year and learned a lot from him. Continue to move forward throughout the year, and then had an opportunity to play the last 4 games, start the last 4 games, and we saw a lot of progress in the last 4 games with Dez, and we think he has capability of being a very competitive quarterback in this league.
Did you ever consider?
I'm gonna cut him off real quick. Nothing he said tells me that he thinks Desmond Ritter's good. Everything was intangible.
Everything's intangible, and you're basing it off of what he did in college, as if guys in college that do the stuff that he did all the time don't fucking suck as pros or something. Like that doesn't always come about. And I think my biggest issue with them rolling with Ritter is not that, like I said, I don't want him to fail. Like for real, I want him to prove me wrong. Like I really do. And matter of fact, he got a lot of fucking people he needs to prove wrong. So I hope that this fuels him. Because if he is going to be our starting quarterback and he is going to be healthy and play, I hope that he proves us wrong. I really do. But
I hope he wants us to want to buy a jersey next year with his name on the back of it.
But this is the reality of it. I've seen enough of his work. I felt like in general going into camp that it was a quarterback battle. I don't remember them saying Marcus Mariota is QB1. Like how they're announcing it now after we let go of Matt and we signed Mariota like the same day. I don't remember them saying this is QB1.
Like the way that
I never heard Arthur Smith say that. I never heard Terry Fontenot say it. I never heard Arthur Blank go on tour talking about it. I never heard that. I remember being in Vegas actually for the first preseason game, and they played the Lions, and Mariota actually had a really good drive that first drive. And then Ritter came out. Ritter had a solid showing. I mean, I was like, okay, we got a little battle here. And I know it's not fair to bring up the Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn.
Yes, it is.
But it is because Russ, like Ritter, was a 3rd-round pick, accomplished in college. They had just signed Flynn the way that we signed Mariota. Obviously, I think at the time it was kind of bigger money because did Flynn get like $15 million a year?
Yeah, he got some decent money because he had that big game for the Packers, like their last game.
6 touchdowns, almost 400 yards. They won, and they might have played like New England or some shit, like a team that was good. But nonetheless, I guess me saying that is that Pete Carroll had the wherewithal to say, "Oh no, Russell Wilson's a starting quarterback week 1," because he saw it in practice. So to me, if Ritter wasn't good enough to beat out the Mariota that we saw, that just tells me that I don't want to hear that he ain't ready shit, because you're gonna know if your quarterback has it or not. You're gonna know whether or not they can play in the league. And it took them long enough to trot him out there. And not only did we have this small sample size, but like on top of it being a small sample size,
wasn't good.
It wasn't good. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. And he played against 4 backup quarterbacks. And people say, well, he plays offense. That what does that have to do? J.J. Watt was on the defense of the Cardinals. Buda Baker was still playing. And it's like, look, those guys had already hung it up. Cliff knew that he was on the outs. Like, bro. And then who did they start at quarterback? It wasn't Scott Tolzien, but it was somebody.
It wasn't Colt McCoy either, was it?
No, it wasn't Colt. That's what I'm saying. So he played a 3rd string. He played Tyler Huntley, who's a backup. I know he's a Pro Bowler, but he's a backup. He played He played the 3rd string for the Bucks
because Tom Brady,
Blaine Gabbert, and Kyle Trask got running that game.
Tom Brady was out of the game by the time we got there,
and we were still up. I mean, the Bucks were still up too at halftime of that game. So nah, man, I'm not fucking sold. He played Andy Dalton in New Orleans. That's a backup. Andy Dalton's a backup, man. And so I don't like the idea of them handing the keys to him. And like I said, for their sake, I hope that they're right, because if not, how is Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot not on the chopping block if this doesn't go right. Like, because not only do you have this opportunity,
You're fired.
not only do you have this opportunity draft, you could have moved up in the draft maybe, or who knows? We don't know who's going to fall to 8. Well, I guess we'll wait until the draft. But let's say that, I mean, Stroud's not falling and neither is Young. But who knows? Maybe let's say that they really like Anthony Richardson. I don't know. Let's just say that he falls or something. And they don't take him, and then the person turns out to be good. Or they don't take like Hendon Hooker in like the 3rd round. Some people think Hendon Hooker is going to go early 2nd. Even with the injury. That a team like Seattle could take him early in the 2nd. And then, you know,
let him rehab all next year.
Get healthy. And then if Geno don't do what Geno just did, maybe it's his job. I don't know. Like if we don't make one of those, I'm even okay with like 4th round, 5th round, if he's there, if we take Stetson Bennett. I don't know. Why not? Like, I guess is my thing.
I think Stetson's going to Baltimore.
How early?
4th or 5th. I think 4th. Because if they don't get Lamar, I think Stetson's going to go in there. He's gonna know that offense. And Baltimore is one of those teams like the Patriots that I talked about in my Instagram vid this week. And we'll get to it, that it's system over it's system and plays over players.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Stetson knows the system better than any quarterback we bring in. He's going to execute at a high level. He's mobile enough. And he just showed us a year of tape relying on tight ends and not wide receivers. And he was pretty fucking successful. So that's just something I've been thinking about. But back to the Desmond Ridder thing. And you talked about the Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn thing. You know, when Russell Wilson got drafted, a 3rd round quarterback had much more value than a 3rd round quarterback does today. Because then the quarterback position was not overvalued. It's like, hey, he's a 3rd round talent. I'm going to draft him in the 3rd round. Now, quarterback talent he's a 3rd round talent, but he's the 2nd best quarterback in the draft. So we got to draft him in the 1st round because the quarterback position is so much more value. Like, most evaluators had a 2nd, 3rd round grade on Baker Mayfield. He did not have a 1st round grade by most talent evaluators. Too small. You know, and some of the things that Baker is described as, some of Baker's traits are the same traits I hear for Des Ridder. Like I've yet to hear someone describe Desmond Ridder, his physical abilities as an attribute. I'm only hearing the Dak Prescott stuff. So like he's Dak Prescott seltzer. I'm not gonna call him Dak Prescott light, right? He's Dak Prescott White Claw.
Right.
Number 4, mixed guy, can run a little bit, but I mean, he's mobile, can run a little bit, but he's not like fast.
Is he mixed?
Yeah, I hope so. He's not white.
He does. I mean, what the fuck? I don't know what he is. That's why.
He should be bald. He doesn't throw a great ball. It's all intangible. I'm not saying that we can't win with that, but bro, here's what it comes down with this Desmond Ridder thing. I'm gonna play the next clip. We are season ticket holders. We do not want to come to the fucking arena every other week to see Desmond Ridder. It's not even winning and losing.
Yeah, okay. His dad is black and his mom's white. So yeah, he's mixed.
Like he's
a mulatto, right?
I think that's a derogatory term. That's why.
Really, is that why Lotto changed their name to Lotto?
Yeah. Yeah, for like no bullshit. Yeah, I know you can't say anything in the society, but
I wonder if his is considered a derogatory if I'm not African.
Say again.
I say I wonder if African American can be considered a derogatory term if I'm not African.
Probably. You want to hear some more Arthur Blank, the guy who's stealing money from us?
Of it, yeah.
Getting into the free agent quarterback market or a trade market?
Well, I think, when we look at free agency, and this is the first year, this is in terms of my ownership, 21 years, and we had double the amount of salary cap available going into free agency this year than we've ever had. So, that's a luxury we always haven't had, and we had it this year. And I think it's up to Coach Smith and Terry Fontenot and Rich and collectively to examine where the investment of that money should go in terms of how do we produce the best roster we can and put the best.
You heard that last name, didn't you?
And Rich.
So if it's Coach Smith, that means, okay, Coach Smith got some juice. And Terry, okay, we throw him in the middle. And Rich, let you know Rich matters. Terry got his balls clipped the day after he got the job.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen. I just and we know that at the end of the day, Arthur can be a bar back to these guys, right? And I say that in a sense of Arthur can make drinks, but his primary job isn't to make the drink. It's to serve it. It's to make sure everybody that's his primary task, right?
Arthur's the waiter. Arthur Smith, he's the waiter.
Yeah, he executes. He takes the order. He brings it out. He does his job. He does what he's supposed to do, but he can be a part of that to a degree.
Exactly.
But whether that's him going to the back and telling the hibachi chef, hey, he doesn't want the 5 big pieces of shrimp that go with the hibachi rice. He wants the shrimp fried rice, but the hibachi being the rice. I need you to hook that up.
And I want to charge him. I want to charge him for this though. I'm trying to save the money.
All right, and so he's got that power, but when you start adding in, okay, this guy is the guy that he picks the groceries, but this guy, he also is kind of telling him, nah, we're not going to go with that brand. We're going to go with that brand. Then you start saying, well, who's cooking this fucking meal? Who's really who's making this?
Parlay Pete, let's think about this, right? One of the things
he wants an old fashioned, and he's just like, all right, so we're going to use our house. We're going to use Makers or Bullet. And then he's like, no, use the Suntory. And it's just like, motherfucker, I'm the one making the drink. Why are you telling me what to do? I get that you back here with me, but you just own the restaurant. You don't. This isn't you don't own the restaurant. You're the manager. And this is what's on the menu. And this is how the drink is supposed to be made. Why are you telling me to use something else?
Well, it tastes better with the blood orange. That's not
what he ordered.
You have to request the blood orange to get the blood orange.
And more importantly, he's like, nah, pour a little less than that shot. And it's just like, I'm the bartender. I know what to do to the drink. Like, I'm a mixologist or whatever. Like, I specifically do this.
And then Arthur brings it out. It's like, hey, this is terrible. I didn't want this. I know. I didn't make it.
I didn't make it. He told me to do it this way. He's like, you know what? You're fired for listening to him.
I took your order. I took it to where it went, where it's supposed to go. I talked to you. I brought it back to you in like a great time. Like, I served you well. I just served you shit because I was given shit. And hold on. You also got Rich saying, well, back before you got here, here's how we did it. Because you still got to throw in TD's salary cap.
Right.
But you know what? And that's the real problem. Because, also Ryan Pace is in the room. You got to remember Ryan Pace is in the room. The guy who drafted Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. It's that hurts. It really hurt hearing Arthur say that. This is my first time listening to that, because even think about these guys, right? Rich McKay is from that from the Tampa tree, right? The Tampa tree from the
and his dad was the owner of the Bucks
from the Tony Dungy days, right?
Yeah. And the McKays own the Bucks.
Then you got Terry. Terry's from the Saints tree, the Mickey Loomis, the Sean Payton tree. Then you got Arthur Smith, who's a mutt because he was under multiple regimes in Tennessee.
I'm sorry, his dad was the coach of the Bucks back in the day, not the owner. Coach.
Yeah.
I was trying to correct myself. I was like, no, he didn't own it.
No, you're good, but like Arthur Smith, he's from multiple regimes. He's also a son of a billionaire from FedEx, but that has nothing to do with him as a coach because everything he's shown me, he's a grinder, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's been with the Titans since 2011. He was with the Titans from 2011 through 2020, so multiple head coaching iterations, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a traditional tree, right?
Right.
So when you mix 3 decision makers from 3 different trees, there's no way to be on the same page because they're not building the team the same way. Like the reason why, the Patriots get a lot of shit for not bringing in different minds.
Mm-hmm.
But the Patriots also build their team a certain way and they're all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So we're either going to think together or we're going to sell together. But the scouts know what Bill wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill the GM knows what Bill the coach wants. Bill the coach knows what type of coordinator Bill the coach wants. You know what I mean? So like it's all these things to make sure that there's uniformity and consistency in the way that they build their team, they built their personnel, they built
Identity.
their identity. So even if the identity is bad, there's cohesiveness. Right now, we got too many people from different NFL trees with different ideologies trying to build a team. It's like putting Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi in the room and saying, "Hey, y'all two run this presidential campaign successfully," which they will because they'll just go to Wall Street and Silicon Valley and they'll just give them the tax cuts they need for the codes to get paid. But if we actually want them to run an ideological campaign together, it's no way that shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, and the scary part is this. At one point, obviously post Mike Vick, started the Matt Ryan era, the Falcons to me did have an identity. As an organization, we had an identity. I thought we were one of the top organizations in general. Obviously, Arthur Blank, maybe too much, likes taking care of his players. He will take care of you.
You learned that from Jera.
Yeah, he takes care of his players, especially his stars. They don't let them walk. They as we found out later on, they overpay them when they probably aren't worth it at that point, as opposed to just cutting bait and moving on and making the right business decision. But we at least did have that. We had an identity. We had an identity from a culture standpoint in the front office. And I think even on the field, our style of play, granted, maybe not our favorite, but we were a finesse, high-flying offensive team. We weren't a punch you in the gut, run it down your throat, our defense is nasty type team. We were a finesse team, and it worked. Like, it worked to a degree. We were a good team, but we even had that culture and that identity. But everybody knew what Falcons football was.
In the Mike Smith days, we would run it down your throat. And then as
the early part.
But then as Matt Ryan got better, but as Matt Ryan developed, we said no. And what I liked about that was, let me see. When was Pioli there? Oh, this was later. This was before Pioli.
He came after.
Pioli came in 2014.
Yeah, that's what I said. He came basically when Mike Smith's fucking carcass was hanging on 75, 85 from the 17th Street Bridge. That's when they brought Pioli in.
Who was the GM before TD?
Rich McKay.
Okay. So we went from what Rich McKay was doing, which worked in that NFL.
Rich came over in 2003.
And when we transitioned from Rich to TD, we tried to become Patriot South.
Yes, corporate quarterback.
Corporate quarterback.
Good guy, gonna say the right things. He'll never get in trouble.
We brought TD in. We brought in PO. Like these guys work together.
We Michael Turner being, kind of the big running backs. I had a great year. Then the next year we say, all right, now this is what we're going to do. We're going to sign Asante Samuel. We're going to trade for Tony Gonzalez, a professional, best tight end in the game. We're giving Matt a target. Roddy developed, Roddy was solid before, but he didn't have nobody. But with Matt, obviously, Roddy looked he was an all-pro receiver at one point. We drafted Sam Baker. There were guys in we kind of had an offensive line a little. Then we traded for John Abraham the following year, one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. He's a double-digit sack guy for the Jets. We gave them like a late. It was the year we went 13, year 3 when we went 13-3 because it was a late. We gave the Jets that was all we gave up was we were like the 30th pick or something. And yeah, well, and it was worth it because Abraham was a guy. He was first real sack artist we had since Pat Kearney, on the DN at least. I'm still mad about that. As a kid, I used to love Pat Kearney.
Same.
He's just always like white guy. When he went to Seattle, he was good in Seattle too. But we had that identity.
We had an identity. We were bringing in the young guys from the programs that we respected, and we were letting them bring their guys in. There's no way in hell that
good guys though too, like Asante Samuel.
I'm talking
probably
about
29.
I'm talking about personnel guys. I'm talking about the guys in the building.
Oh.
But there's no way
Coaching
in hell,
too,
huh?
Coaching too, though.
Well, yeah,
because
there's no way.
We were running through fucking offensive coordinators like a baby runs through diapers.
Well,
they kept getting hired. Malarkey got a job after Matt. Cutter ended up obviously getting a job. Like these guys are getting jobs.
Kyle got a job.
Everybody that worked with Matt Ryan ended up getting a fucking job. I mean, Mike Smith still got a second chance to coach.
And let's talk about Kyle getting that job real quick. This was Kyle's first job. Like everybody gives Kyle credit, and don't get me wrong, Kyle deserved a job. He deserved the job he got. And I'm sure Kyle had opportunities to get other jobs, but Kyle wanted the right job.
Nobody saw him as a head coach until his work with us.
But exactly. But
he's a solid offensive coordinator with the Browns for the 1 year. Obviously, the Redskins and even Houston was really good. I mean, like
but everybody wants to give Kyle Shanahan all this credit for being this great OC, great play caller, and he is. He's amazing. But you got to give Matt Ryan some credit because Kyle's not the only guy he got paid. And I try to, I'm not as high on Matt Ryan as you are. I'm not like the rest of the black Atlanta Falcons fans who don't understand football. But Matt Ryan got a lot of people paid, and that matters because and we've talked about this on this podcast with Kyle Shanahan. Like, I'm not saying Kyle Shanahan's an overrated head coach, but when he'll have a great roster, and then when Jimmy Garoppolo's not there. But look, man, we haven't talked. Let me see if I can get some more. Where are we at? We're at 57. So
there's always a lot of juice when we get into Falcons. When we get into ball about them, I mean, we could have a whole show talking Falcons.
But I want to keep going with this Falcons piece because I want to get to the quote that mattered.
Group of young men on the field. And so I think they explored all opportunities in terms of, obviously in terms of backup quarterbacks and a number of other players. And I think we've improved our team this year a good bit through free agency. And I'm excited about the draft coming up. We have eight remaining picks in the draft. And so
we should be able to pick up 2 more picks if we trade back at 8.
You talked about the job that Arthur
Smith
has done for 2 years. I mean, you guys had to go through some salary cap pain, but the draft picks that they were able to utilize to be competitive.
Okay, I don't think this is getting to what we want to. I'm trying to find his Lamar Jackson quote because Arthur is out on Lamar Jackson in the media. I don't know how true it actually is, but the quote itself was kind of nasty.
Here are your trade back opportunities. 16 with Washington, possibly 22 with Baltimore.
I just saw on Pat. They talked about this on McAfee. I didn't watch the video because I just saw it. But apparently the Ravens tried to sign Baker Mayfield.
I did. I saw that rumor. That's saw disgusting. That.
So listen. Here's the Arthur Blank quote.
Go ahead. Go play it.
Looking at objectively, I say there's some concerns.
You had the audio.
Oh no, I gotta read it.
Go ahead and read it, but yeah.
Looking at it objectively, I'd say there's some concern over how long he can play his style of game. Blank explained to reporters. Hopefully a long time, but he's missed 5-6 games each of the last 2 years. Each game counts a lot in our business. Let me say something real quick, Arthur Blank. You were willing to sign Deshaun Watson and trade more to get Deshaun Watson in your building. Then you're gonna have to trade for Lamar. And he was looking like he was gonna miss a season. He ended up missing like 12 games, right? And the way he played, you lost your quarterback for a whole fucking season, if we're being honest.
That's called timeout.
What's up?
Motherfucker, wasn't Michael Vick your quarterback? Did he not do the same shit? Did he not miss damn near a whole fucking season too, doing the same shit? He just don't have an MVP or anything to show for his time here, aside from a couple of clips and some sold out dome. You know what I mean? And us being on ESPN. But is it not the same thing? So I'm just I want to formulate it because Michael Vick got hurt doing the same shit and missed almost an entire season because of that. Like,
why is Arthur Blank?
And then people wanted to blame it on a Madden curse or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are make it make sense.
Why is Arthur talking like he's Jerry Jones? Like he's the Rooney family, like he's Kraft.
Because he looks like a villain in a fucking Bruce Wayne movie. Okay,
he's talking like we are a Super Bowl or bust franchise. We're not. We're a franchise that struggles to sell tickets. We have one of the best cities in the NFL. We have one of the best arenas in the NFL. We have one of the best game day. We have a great game day environment that aligns with the people who are in our city. Like it is very much a black socialite environment at the Atlanta Falcons games.
We live, even if our fan base isn't great, we live in a football country, bro. Georgia don't have no problem getting that shit sold out and it being nothing but red and black. Why do we struggle to do it? Some of the best football players in the NFL, they from here. This is a football-rich area. People care about the shit here.
Georgia has the second or third most 5-star high school athletes in the entire country right now.
Like I said, we all know who the big four are. California, Texas, Florida, Georgia. And you could throw Louisiana maybe in there.
You got some Louisiana, you got some Ohio, but the big four.
But we're the big four. Yeah, there's some superstars that be coming out of Louisiana. But in terms of totality, like we have 3 stars that are guys, like in the league, that were 3 stars in high school that are like dudes. Like Preston Smith went to elementary, middle school, and high school with him. One of the best defenders on the Green Bay Packers. And he was a 3-star coming out of high school, going to Mississippi State.
Nick Chubb.
Chubb was like a 4. But regardless, he wasn't the top running back in the state, like type shit.
He wasn't the top running back on his team leaving Georgia. The Pats drafted Sony Michel
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I thought Chubb was better than Michelle, even then. But Gurley was different. But Gurley was also injury prone, which we knew that. But Gurley was different. Gurley went down and Chubb took over that year. I was like, oh shit! I was like, that's the one. Sony used to get hurt a lot too, low key.
Let me tell you an interesting story though about the difference between UGA on Saturday and the Falcons on Sunday. Because a lot of what Michael Vick was turns off a lot of the UGA fan base. It's different fan bases. And I went and got a massage last week. And I had a male massage therapist. He was doing some work on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. And we got to talking sports. He's a Bulldog fan. He's a Falcons fan. And he's like, I just don't know if we should pay Lamar all that guaranteed money. So I'm like, it ain't coming out of our pockets. Give a fuck. And the way these contracts are created, if he's on the roster, that's going to be a guarantee. And the way it's going to be, if we get a decent capologist in there, which TD did not have, the contract is going to be placed in a way that it's not all going to be against the salary cap. He's going to renegotiate every other year to turn a lot of stuff into bonuses. But yes, who cares if we give him 50 million guaranteed? You know how many jerseys Lamar Jackson is going to sell? Like, I will get a Lamar Jackson Falcons jersey.
Yeah.
You know how deep out, because we both have tickets on the visitor side.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much black and red will be in our sections? Because what people forget was when the Falcons had Michael Vick, all the games sold out within every game sold out within 2 hours of tickets going on sale. And this is when Ticketmaster didn't have a website. This is you calling Ticketmaster on the phone and you're ordering your tickets. We bring Lamar back. Like, the Falcons fans will show up if you give them something to watch, and Lamar is something that the Falcons will watch. Falcons fans will watch. And I don't understand why Arthur is forgetting about how he got his biscuits buttered in Atlanta as a football owner. Niggas should have brought in Cam Newton last year to back up Marcus. He would have sold jerseys.
Or just bought in Cam in general instead of Marcus.
He would have sold jerseys and tickets. But I think, it goes to people not. You know how sometimes we'll listen to people outside of our communities talk about how to make like Black America better, or how they should or how we could better interact, and well, hey, you should feel this way. It's like, no, bro, this is how we feel when you do this. I think it's the same pulse that is on the Atlanta sports market, right? Because Atlanta's one of those weird cities where there's a lot of black people with a lot of money. Unlike a lot of your other major cities, it just doesn't work. It's not as many rich niggas. There's the percentage of rich niggas isn't there, right? Like, sure, you have them, but not per capita. And there's a lot of street money in Atlanta that will buy season tickets. Oh shit, boy! Hell yeah, we're gonna pull up on Lamar. A lot of rappers in Atlanta. Hell yeah, we're gonna pull up on Lamar. Hey, we're gonna book Lamar for this. Video this. Oh yeah, I'm gonna perform at the game for free on this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so much culture that Atlanta has that if you get that type of quarterback that the city can rally around, tickets gonna sell themselves. The jersey gonna sell themselves.
Well, certainly if that's what it's about for him, which, like Joy Taylor said, apparently that is what it's about. It ain't about winning football games here. So it's like
it's not about either. We're not trying to sell tickets or win games.
And because of that league share shit. But like, it's just one of those things where, like I said, we get 5 straight years of missing a postseason. You're about to go on 6. Previously, the last time that we had that long of a drought was between 1982 and 1991. So before I was born. And it just is so sad to look at, because it's one of those things where I can't believe that we got in this position. Like, I see how it happened from the Matt Ryan era, like how that happened. You held on to TD too long. He probably should have. Him and DQ probably should have been fired the year before. I mean, the Eagles didn't hesitate to fucking fire Doug Peterson. He had won the Super Bowl 2 years prior. So like, I don't want to hear, well, we went to the playoffs, we went to Super Bowl. No, man, they probably should have been. The reset should have happened because I guess 2020 is when it kind of happened, but like 2019 is probably when it should have happened.
When we re-signed Matt Ryan and Julio was gimpy again. Matt wasn't great, and we didn't have money to bring in more talent. And we were stuck with that money for 2 to 3 more years. That's when we should have cleared house. And we should have moved off of Matt Ryan after we should have moved after Matt Ryan the season before we did, because remember, he had a pretty good season. The team was just terrible, but his numbers were pretty good. And you could have sold him to a team like the Colts a year earlier.
Yeah, because he would have been much better with them than Phillip Rivers then. You know,
You could-
plus that Colts team, you could argue maybe was a little bit better too than even the one that he just joined.
And
That
you
just
could-
completely fell apart this year. But like,
you could have sold him then and probably got them to take more of the cap off of you. You know what I mean?
I think you could have. I'm looking at his numbers now. The 20 you're talking about. So the 2018 year was the year after the playoffs.
Okay.
That was the year he put up basically the MVP numbers again.
Yeah, and we got beat by Philly.
Right, and that's year 2 of Sark. They fired Sark. They brought back Cutter.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, the next year we went 7-9 again. Matt was still solid, 4,400 yards, 26 TDs, 14 picks. Not nearly those numbers. And then even in 2020, this is the Todd Gurley year, you know, the year that DQ gets fired. Matt, 4,500, 26 TDs, 11 picks. He still had value in 2020, I think. More value than getting rid of him in Arthur Smith's system where we won 4 games. No, we won 7 games. I'm tripping. We didn't win 4 games. We won 4 games the year before. But
I think you move off of him. I think you move off of him in that.
I don't think they were going to move off of him in 18. But here's the thing. If you weren't going to move off of him after 18, then you definitely should have moved off of Quinn and Dimitrov.
Yeah.
You should have already reset for him to set that team up. Now, I remember this so vividly. That 2019 season opener, me and Justice went. It was in Minnesota, and all the talks the night before was Julio going to play? Because if you remember, he kind of was standing off because he didn't get his contract. It was like the first time he diva'd it, and then it was reported that Julio signed a 3-year, $66 million contract.
Was like 62 at signing.
Yeah. Like it was like in a weird way, he got a very much so front-loaded, almost completely guaranteed contract. And it made him far and away at the time at 22 per year annually. Like I think the next highest was 17. Like he was far and away. He reset the fuck out of that market because
that hamstring was tender. He limped up to sign that contract with it.
That was before 2020. So think about it. And that's like what did what's his face get in Jacksonville? He just got like 20 that same he just got like 20 million, 21 million. And that wasn't even Julio money from 3 years ago.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah. And we thought that was ridiculous because a guy like that was getting that. And now, of course, guys like Tyreek Hill are getting 30. But like, I don't know. They've set it up to where I pray for Desmond Ridder, man, because if he doesn't do it, it's going to be fucking hell, bro. Not just for him, but for the staff, bro, fan base. I'm not going to not be a fan, but now it gets into that territory of where I know how like some Jets fans feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know, right? And it's so
no,
sad.
bro, we might turn into the Kings. Sacramento Kings.
God, but that's in Sacramento. It's like you're in Atlanta. Like, bro, like why? Like why is our stadium being more known for hosting events than it is for Falcons games? Like, well, that's a problem. It's not the home of the Falcons. It's the home of sports' best.
Nah, bro, it's a home to Kanye's album release party or listening parties.
Yeah, it's that. It's he lived there. I know, right? It was Kanye's apartment for a little bit.
Yeah, bro.
Or loft or condo or house, whatever you want to give him.
Hey, question: How did it feel to live that close to Kanye?
It was cool.
I mean, he was low key your neighbor.
And this is what I'll say for a little bit, right? But like, what was cooler was going out when he didn't have the tour. Like we would go over to the Hard Rock. Like I said, we met Jay Electronica. You know, we saw what's
you
up
never
to him.
take.
He came over, what's up, and everything. Like touches. He's like, how y'all brothers doing? Then when he came back out, we're just drinking. This nigga, he comes back over. He's like, y'all stay blessed, man. Like, so we talked to him, GLC and Consequence. Like, Kanye's like kind of his like day, I guess, kind of day one-ish. Like a lot of the guys he worked with early in his career.
You never take me to the Hard Rock.
Let's go. We were gonna. I know one night we were. Here's the issue with there. They be shutting shit down. Like Atlanta shuts down early. That rooftop.
COVID and crime killed it, man.
Yeah, they shut it down. They be shutting shit down early. Like, because even if I'm getting drinks at the hotel, it's like, gosh, can we get some tapas or something like some apps? Like,
also, our problem is we don't get moving until like 12:30. So too many.
Yeah, they're shut down at midnight.
Like we get moving so late.
But that's why it's always easy to go to Parlor and be on Peter Street, because Peter Street doesn't shut down until 3.
I'll never complain about going to Parlor.
Yeah, it's a cocktail den, speakeasy.
And I'm already drunk. And I'm already drunk by the time I get there. So like, anyways, Lamar. Let's talk a little bit Lamar. Hold on. Here. Let me do this real quick. So that concludes the first hour. AC Lee and Parlay Pete. We opened it up a little bit differently because we wanted to give women some time. We also want to have a serious, honest conversation about women, and we wanted to give it from a male perspective. We wanted women to know how men think about their plight and how we feel about their plight. So if you don't like it, let us know. Tell us we're wrong. If you agree, tell us we're right. Because the point is, we're having these conversations because we want to create a better life, a better situation. And I brought it up because it bothers me. It worries me. It gives me anxiety that all these women that I know and love and care about have anxiety. And I don't want them to feel that way in this world. And if there's something I can do, we can do to make this world better for them, we want to do it. But then, little football. A lot of Falcons first. And to be honest with you, as we close out this first hour, we're probably not done talking about the Falcons because we're going to start into the Lamar conversation. But talk a little Calais Campbell too, little 49ers. Little Bill Belichick. Little Meek Millie. But that's hour one. Getting into hour two. How's it going, man? It's AC Lee from the AC Lee and Parlay Pete podcast.
Hold it.
If y'all don't know anything, if y'all don't remember anything, if y'all forget everything, y'all just need to remember that.
Hold it.
But yeah, we're still talking football. We're still talking Falcons football.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
My co-host, he's probably pouring up another old fashioned. He's a classic man. But me, I'm gonna pull out some of this right here. They don't sponsor us yet, but happy dad. Because I'm a dad. And I'm happy. Call me Pappy. Happy Pappy. Happy. And while I'm here, man, thanks for everybody who participated on Instagram. Gave us some stuff to talk about in the comments. Hey, we're not going to talk about all of your topics. We never will. But we are going to talk about some of them. And we want y'all to hold us accountable for the things that we say we're going to talk about that we end up not talking about, right? So for those of you who may have missed it, what Parlay Pete and I did on did after last week's show is we recapped the show, put that video out. Then we guessed on what we would talk about on this week's show based on what we think was going to happen during the week. Now, next week's show is going to be a little bit different because we got my guy, Sean Daly, big Philly legend, over at Fansided. You know my guy from the the Catch Up podcast that I did when I first started podcasting. My original co-host, he's going to be on the show to come talk some basketball with us. We'll talk some football. We'll just talk some life with him. But that's going to be the show next week. But Parlay Pete's back. Hey, Parlay Pete, question for you.
Yes.
How do you feel about the sign Calais Campbell? Does that not tell you that maybe Arthur Blank is full of shit and we're going to make a move that matters because Calais Campbell has only tried to play for winners the last like 5 to 7 years? I don't think he would come to Atlanta just for a bag because we also didn't see what he got paid, which means vet minimum.
That's the assumption.
I'll
be honest. I like
talk
the
to
sign.
him. I love it.
I looked at it more as like when we signed Dwight Freeney. Really, like it's very similar, just in the sense of there is a name recognition with this player. He was still solid. He was productive, considering he was a rotation guy. You know, a guy that was getting probably 40 snaps.
But he was a rotation guy in Baltimore, so it's a little bit different. It
That's
didn't
true.
mean that
He's playing with more dogs.
exactly. It doesn't mean he can't produce. It just means that they minimize his opportunities to produce.
I still see him being more of a mentor to a young defense, but being, you know, producing as well. I like the signing all the way around because of that. Because I know that he's not coming in here to be a starter. I don't have this expectation of him being a double-digit sack guy. I just look at it more as a move of, you know, this is a good vet to have in the locker room. This is a guy that, you know, has played at a high level for a long time that, who knows? I mean, like in that Dwight Freeney-esque role for that Super Bowl team, maybe he's able to come in and unlock something in one of the young guys that we drafted, like Evan Cady or D'Angelo Malone or even what's my man that we just signed from the Saints? Not Ojedeji. On not him, the white boy that had 7 sacks for the Saints. Maybe he gets more out of them, teaches them a couple moves. Because I feel like Dwight Freeney definitely helped Vic Beasley. Like I do.
I got that sack, Big Beasley. Hey, it was somebody back home who made a song after that season said, I got that sack, Big Beasley.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to send you a track?
No.
Hey, he's a good guy. I fuck with dog. He ain't no bullshit, dog. You know what I'm saying? No cap.
Is that like the name of the track? Was it kind of like I got them dirty birds like Julio? Was it?
I think the same like I got that sack, Big B. Either I got that sack or I got that sack, Big Beasley.
Somebody also said I got a sack like J.J. Watt. You know,
Well, that's a big ass sack. You
Yeah.
got a lot. Pause. Question though. Robert Kraft said Meek Mill told him Lamar wants to come play for the Pats.
I couldn't believe that shit when I saw it. And I was just like, where's like the quote, like of actually seeing him say it?
But that's Bill's decision. Is that Robert Kraft telling the Patriots fans, hey man, if we don't get Lamar, blame Bill so I can fire his ass?
You on the team, you ultimately make the decision. If you want them, you're going to get them. Like, I do not believe that Terry Fontenot, especially because of the Lamar thing this year, I do not believe that Terry Fontenot or Arthur Smith was like, yeah, let's get Deshaun Watson. I really don't.
Arthur Blank. That was all Arthur.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Hey.
I have a hard time believing that was their decision. So I think owners do what they want to do ultimately because it is their team.
I was listening to something. I forgot. Oh no, I was listening to the Ron Slow podcast, and he had this guy who works for the players association on there, right? NFLPA.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about one of the problems that he's seeing is a lot of teams are caring too much about expressing to the fans what they stand on and what they believe in, and not trying to win games. Like they're like signaling to the fans, "Hey, we're interested in this guy. We're not interested in this guy. We got our guy." When they should just be like, "Let's bring in the best guys for our team," right? Because the fans don't really like. Do we really care what Terry Fontenot says on a press conference? No, we care what they put on the field.
Yep, that because that does the talking.
And if you put the right product on the field, we can think you suck. Chris Chandler, his name will always matter in Atlanta because of what happened in 98.
Exactly.
Number 12 will mean something in this city because of 98. 32 will always be Jamal Anderson because of what happened in 98. 81 will always be Terrence Mathis because of what happened in 98.
Dan Reeves,
he's somebody because of what happened in 98. 7 matters because of what Vic did against Brett Favre. What year was that?
02.
No, 2, right?
Yeah.
02, that mattered. Then we changed the jerseys up in 04. And with the NFC Championship, we got beat by Donovan McNabb and them. No TO because his leg was broke. How y'all sorry we didn't get beat by even without TO. But nonetheless, those things mean something to us, right? Like it matters. Number 12 does not mean anything to us because of that sorry ass Jenkins nigga from Ohio State came to Atlanta. He was terrible. Privilege Price wore 81. We don't remember that because you were terrible. I remember I went to Hibbett Sports and to get my jersey in the Privilege Price years, right?
Yeah.
One of my partners had a Vic jersey. One of my other partners had a Duckett jersey. I'm like, I'm with the Privilege Price. You know what I mean? I buy the Privilege Price. My mom go, "You sure you want that jersey?" Yeah, I do. She's like, "You sure you want that jersey? You know, you always a Michael Vick fan, and you had the other Michael Vick jersey before they changed. You sure?" Bro, before the day was over, I took that Privilege Price jersey back and swapped it out for the red Michael Vick jersey because my partner had the black Michael Vick jersey. And you know, it's middle school. We wearing jerseys to school every other day. You know, you trying to get your jersey game right so you can have about 7 jerseys. So you can be wearing a jersey all the time, right? You got your good jerseys, your bad jersey. You get some little bullshit ass cheap jersey, but it's still a jersey. You know what I mean? And then you got your white tees, your black tees, your red tees, your blue tees, your pink tees, and you really got 2 weeks playing out of jerseys and t-shirts with nothing on it. You know, blank t-shirts, not your Fat Farm or your FUBU or your South Pole or your Rockaway, your Sean John. I mean, this is 2000s when we was wearing big clothes and shit, right?
Yeah.
Reebok Classics. And dog, I took that Privilege Price jersey back and went got me a red Vic jersey.
Probably one of the better decisions you've made, at least from a retail standpoint, ever.
Shout out to my mom because she knew better than I did.
No, I always was I had a Vic red one, you know, with the NFL equipment.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where the NFL was tucked underneath the shit.
Yeah.
Shit, I got the white one in the closet now. I ordered it off of Poshmark.
White one, like the 2002 white one or the 2004 white one?
2004 white one.
Okay.
That same style you talking about with the red one you had.
Yeah. I had the red. You know, and it's so funny. I always used to rock. I have a Jesse Tuggle jersey. that I've had since I was a kid. And
Number
like
58.
Yeah, it's the old one. I mean,
Fire.
no, I think on the side maybe
Carter?
it's Reebok. Yeah, it's black.
Oh, man.
I could still actually put it on if I wanted to. That's the scary part.
Put
It-
this shit on.
Weird.
I mean, Justice has his Terrence Mathis jersey that fits.
That jersey, Terrence Mathis gave him that jersey though. That's a game worn jersey. Yeah, that Terrence Mathis jersey. That's a game worn jersey.
Hold on. That drop don't even exist no more on this podcast, but you said
Hold it.
Terrence Mathis gave him that jersey. I'll never forget. I was so mad. Because we're like both little, so like I'm thinking like, man, fuck, why didn't he give it to me? Like, why didn't he give me his helmet then? Like, or
you
something.
deserve to be mad.
Yeah, but it's okay. It ended up coming back.
Hey, if you want a helmet, I'll give you mine.
Well, I ended up getting D'Angelo Hall. D'Angelo Hall gave me his jersey, but it's funny because like that same
Parlay
season.
Pete, do you want my helmet?
Sure, I don't see why not.
I mean,
Keep talking.
I wore this bitch 2009, my last season. You can still see the all the eye black that I would wear.
Yeah,
in my chin strap. I wore number 2.
right.
I got a couple
I
of.
didn't give out things like stickers to put on them.
Well, we did.
Letters, almost like I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, let me tell you a funny story about that, right? Because we used to have the little stickers. It would just be the cross sabers, right? We got right here. But my senior year, we lost our first 7 games.
Yeah,
So coach wasn't giving out stickers because we was trash.
right.
So we just didn't get stickers that year.
Oh,
But
so,
a great story. Let me tell you a great story about that helmet, right? The last play from scrimmage that helmet played caught a pick. My last play as a football player was a pick, and I threw my glove into the student section.
Did y'all win the game?
Yeah. It was. We were up.
Oh, you sealed it.
Yeah, I sealed the game with the pick. Had a conversation.
Senior night.
Yeah, home game, senior night, all that shit. Yeah, it was actually a great way to end my unillustrious football career. But I had a conversation with the referee, the back judge who was back there, because I knew him. Ran to I see him on a regular because I know him. I know his kids, all that shit. Right, we're talking.
Right.
I'm like probably 27, 28 when I see him. So it's 10 years removed from this. I said, hey man, I want to thank you because my last play as a high school football player, I pushed off like hell, and you didn't call it. He remembered the play. He was like, yeah, you lucky I knew you, because if I didn't know, I would have called that shit. I'm like,
collusion.
That's fine.
That's what I take away from it. I take away collusion.
Jalen Ramsey gets to push off. Tell me about this helmet before I go pee.
This helmet was given to me as a gift because I complained about something. They sent this to me in the mail. Not a notable player. It was like some guy that got cut. But it is from, as you can see, look, it's got that on there, the NFL 100 from the 100 season.
That's some solid shit right there.
Yeah, and it looks brand new. It's like, so the motherfucker barely played. So like it's a relatively, there's like a little thing here on the top of it. I'm sure you can see that.
Oh, he got it on punt.
Yeah. He got cracked one good time. But like outside of that, everything else on this helmet is perfect. But now I keep it on top of like that fireplace I've got. Kind of, I guess, as art, I guess you could say. I thought about taking it down to my neighbors and we spray paint it, low key. But but like do something really creative with it, low key. Like,
bro, I know this is super selfish, but the Friday before Boink's wedding, I want to hit up my guy who did the cameraman shit, who's gonna do the cameraman shit for the interview that we didn't do yet.
Okay.
And I want him just to record us that night, that Friday night that we kick it.
Mm-hmm.
And we put that out as the podcast.
Will it be a group conversation?
It's gonna be us kicking it and talking shit, and like we're gonna have like conversations that matter.
All right, so like barbershop-esque, like the shop kind of.
Yeah, but it's gonna be real.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We won't think about would he be able to do like I'm wired?
Yeah. He
Okay.
has those mics.
That would be great, because I think that if we do it and it gets set up and then like
I will send you a video he did of me where I was hosting an event. He had me mic'd up, but he was also recording, and it was he put it all together. And it was a super dope project. And part of it is like a locker room gift for the groomsmen. And I can talk to him about editing it appropriately. Like, hey, we want an uncut version, like that you send me. And then we want like a podcast version that we could actually put out, because we're all going to be together. And it's going to be great fucking content. You know, it's going to be great content. Like, even if we don't leave your house, if we go from the house to the roof, and that's the entire Friday night, that's going to be great content.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're just going to be getting drunk and smoking cigars, and I'll say, hey, here's the
memories.
Hey, here's the words you edit out. Because there are going to be some words that are going to get used because we're together.
Words and maybe even partially conversation.
Well, and that's where, and part of that would be, hey,
you could cut a whole segment of if
when you start
about something.
When you start chopping this, like, I'll go to Cartersville for a day to sit in his lab and chop with
watch it yourself and say, yep, cut from there to there.
It's like, hey, I want this raw. I need this raw stuff, right? Like, I need
Give
you
me
to
the
create
whole thing by itself.
I need you to create a raw version compiled. I need that. But you can't put that in there.
Right.
Any stories that any of the married people told, you can't put those in there. We got wives. But hey, talk about Lamar getting blackballed while I go pee.
Well, and honestly, we could talk about that all day.
Yeah, I want to come back and talk about it, but like, we've just been all over the place today because we're having fun.
Lamar is a guy that I think is in this position because of his will to not give in necessarily to what the NFL has been, the way that the NFL does business, obviously with agents, guaranteed contracts not being a thing. So like, he's getting blackballed because of that. Like, we know this. And the weird part about it, I think, is just, is Lamar Jackson ever going to play football? And I think that's got to be a real question that we have to ask ourselves. What happens, if nobody trades for him? Does he swallow his pride and play again and then potentially get hurt, which doesn't sound like something he wants to do? And when I say play again, I mean, sign that tag that they gave him, $32 million, something like that. Plays the 1 year. Maybe he balls out. Maybe he gets hurt for a third straight season. Then what? What's going to happen is the question. And I think that that's just the biggest concern going forward with him in his career is how does he handle it, and what comes of it? What could be the last resort of this situation? And I was just telling them, Lee, what happens if nobody trades for him? Does he sit out the whole year, Le'Veon Bell style, or does he sign it and swallow his pride and play the 1 year tag, get the guaranteed money, possibly get hurt a third year in a row, which from there, I don't know what his value is if he gets hurt a third year in a row. He could do the same thing he did last year. Let's say he goes like 8-4 or something like that and gets hurt.
Here's
I don't know what his value becomes.
Here's what makes the Lamar thing funny to me. Kyler gets hurt, still gets paid.
Yeah, he already got his bag though.
But he he had nagging injuries like Lamar had nagging injuries, he still got paid. He did not produce at the same level that Lamar Jackson did.
Right.
Dak Prescott breaks his fucking leg. Still gets paid.
That's because Jerry realized he fucked up.
I just don't understand what he has to do. And the only thing that tells me why Lamar Jackson shouldn't get paid is that he doesn't have an owner. I mean, excuse me, an agent from a major agency that has leverage to get the teams to do stuff for other clients, right? And the way Lamar is being covered is negative. You know why it's negative? Because he's coloring outside of the box. It's just like when they said, "Hey, you can't win a Super Bowl with a mobile quarterback. He has to be a pocket passer." No, you can. You just got to change the way you go about things. You know, the way they talked about, hey, he could do this in the college game. He could dominate in college, but he can't play in the NFL. Are you sure you can't play in the NFL, or can you not set up a system for him to succeed in the NFL? Like, if you're gonna ask this defensive lineman who's been a nose guard his entire life, a run stopper, who just clogs up the middle, and you say, "Hey, I need you to move out to play a 3 technique and a 5 technique," and he goes, "Hey, I'm not agile enough to do that. I'm a Vince Wilfork body who clogs up just the middle of the defense. No, I can't do that." Or, "Hey, middle linebacker, I need you to play sideline to sideline." He goes, "No, dog, I'm a run stuffer.
Right.
Like I just get downhill. Like I don't go left to right. I go up and down." Like, so because Lamar does not fit the mold as a talent, and Lamar does not fit the mold from the professional side of the house, the odds are against him, and there are multiple reasons why Lamar is gonna get fucked over that are outside of what he brings to the table as a football player. It's like, well, can he be healthy? Yes, he can. Like, his injuries and the plays in which he got those injuries were pretty fluky. And if you watch Lamar Jackson play, he doesn't take a lot of hits. And he may be listed at somewhere between 205 and 215. He's not. He's like 235. Like he gained the extra weight. You can see it on him. His teammates love him. Players who have never even played with Lamar Jackson are advocating for him. So that lets you know what type of guy he is and what type of work he puts in. If you've actually watched his game, not his stats, if you've watched his game, he has gotten better and progressed every single year. Every year, he's added a different tool to his game. To his game. So that lets you know that's the type of guy you want in your building. And for those of, and because Jalen Hurts has all this hype coming off of the Super Bowl run, Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson does everything that Jalen Hurts does better than Jalen Hurts, except for squat, maybe.
Not as good a power runner.
Sure. Who cares? When you're the fastest person on the field, I don't care if you're not a better power runner. That little 1 yard, let's pick him up and push him play. You know what I mean? Like,
his ass was running between the hashes, getting them yards. That's all I'm saying.
And Lamar can.
No, I'm not saying that he can't.
I know,
but I'm saying
stylistically it's different.
It's just a different. He's much more power. Josh Allen's more of what Jalen Hurts does. Like, it's just more. It seems like because this guy's legs are like cheap tree trunks.
Hey, Jalen Hurts. Nah, if Jalen Hurts was a woman, you want to fuck her. Like, just big thighs and ass. You know what I mean? Like,
oh boy,
doesn't that make people uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Because I by no means am I sexually attracted to Jalen Hurts. I'm just speaking to, like, the things that make him great as a football player, his thighs, his butt, because he's super strong, super solid lower body. You like that in a runner of the football, but you also like that in a runner of a penis.
Absolutely.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
You know what's funny? They asked Kirby Smart. He was talking about basically something that Bill Belichick looks for.
Okay.
They said that Bill Belichick, when he goes to these like pro days, he wants to look at the O-line and D-linemen's asses because it tells you how much space that they're going to take up. And like, no, seriously, when Kirby Smart said that is something that like he looks at, and like he looks at how big a guy's ass is because it tells him just how much space he's going to eat up. So he likes to get behind the O-lineman and look and see just like, what a weird way to measure something, right? It's just like his ass is so wide, I know he's going to eat up space. Like,
that's funny. You want to hear something else I found funny listening, like football coaching, talking wise?
Go for it.
I listen to my guy Cowherd. You know, I listen to Cowherd all the time, right? He was talking about football coaches, and he was talking about Harbaugh and Lincoln Riley. He's like,
who's Harbaugh?
Jim.
Okay.
He's like, Jim Harbaugh, Lincoln Riley, they can walk into the NFL job tomorrow. You know, you guys get caught up on wins and all of this stuff, but Jim Harbaugh, Lincoln Riley, they can coach. I know they haven't won a national championship, but they can coach. Kirby Smart, he's the NFL coordinator. Lincoln Riley and Jim Harbaugh, they're NFL coaches. And I go, you may be right, but they're not better coaches than Kirby. Kirby looked Lincoln face to face. One of Link's better teams he's ever had. Better than his USC team that got beat by Tulane.
Right.
And he walked him down and said, "Hey, Baker, no natty for you, buddy. You're not going. You don't want to see Saban. You ain't built like that." And it's so funny the way, and here's where I'm going with this, right? It's so funny the way that the media cares so much about like offense and guys who are innovative and they think bigger than the room. And it's like, hey, you know what Kirby and Nick Saban are doing? They're getting the biggest, fastest, strongest football players and saying, hey, here's what you do well. Do this all the time. And they win.
Do it all the time and knock this guy on his fucking ass, please.
Yeah, like they're the reason why Caleb thought about coming to Georgia. And I get why he didn't, because Kirby's like, hey, you're going to have to compete with Stetson. Because we can win a national championship with this guy right here.
We just did.
And it did it back to back. You know what I mean? Like, back to back. Like, so it would have been nice to have Caleb Williams on the roster last year. But you're a Georgia fan. Do we really want that razzle-dazzle fancy shit in our football?
I don't think that it's Georgia football.
Bingo.
That's not the culture. That's not the identity. And
Caleb Williams,
even all the studs on defense, right? They've got personality, like Jordan Davis. Like, them guys had personality, but like
Jalen Carter.
But bro, they
Carl Walker, Tyrese.
Bro, them boys. I mean, I even look back to the 17 team. I mean, 17, 18 team. DeAndre Baker, bro. Like, these were real dudes on the field. Like, they fit what Kirby was talking about, man. Like, like these guys fit what he's talking about. Hey, has he dropped on boards?
Who? Jalen Carter?
Keely Ringo. I don't hear much about when they talk about corners. There's like that corner from Oregon, Gonzalez, and then there's the guy from Illinois. Like, no, I haven't seen anyone have Keely Ringo as top, like a guy getting drafted in the first round.
He's been quiet, but here's what
they didn't talk about him at the pro day. You know what I mean? Because it was all about Nolan Smith being just this crazy fucking oval, and then Carter obviously and his issues. Like nobody even said anything about Keely Ringo or Stetson Bennett, really, for that matter.
So I looked up some Stetson Bennett stuff, and he's looking like 4 to 6. I'm
just saying
right now. Keely Ringo's the ninth. Keely's the 9th best cornerback.
Wow.
He here it goes. He too often grabs at receivers and gets lost on the deep balls, which will be more consistently called against him in the NFL. They need to work with him, both technique and instincts, get him used to use his hands more conservatively and play the ball in the air. He is a little stiff, and combined with his size, he is likely an outside corner, only bringing him down. He's likely an outside corner only, bringing him down to cover a slot receiver. Tight end would likely not produce desired. Gives a fuck. What is this 40?
Probably 4.5, 4.57, like something like that.
Let me see. Nah, he ran 4.36.
Oh shit.
He ran 4.36 and he's 6'2". Draft him. I don't like.
What do you feel like if he falls to the second round? Because we could use another corner.
I would love to put him on the other side of AJ because AJ's real deal, like AJ's a real lockdown.
Yeah, we could use another corner.
So
not to mention, we got Casey Hayward still, and he got hurt like early last year, so we didn't really get to see what he would look like. And then as he got hurt, then AJ Terrell got hurt, and it was.
Here's what I did on Madden with the Falcons, right? I traded back and drafted Bijan Robinson. Traded for Justin Fields. Picked up OBJ in free agency. Guess who?
Probably won 12 games.
Huh?
Probably won 12 games.
Oh, I'm in year 4 and I've won 2 Super Bowls. On all Madden. What's my man? And this is where it becomes a video game. My man from Dallas became available. Diggs. What you want? I'm signing you.
Well, if you'd already been winning too.
So yes, Trayvon Diggs and AJ Terrell. Like AJ Terrell, legit lockdown. Trayvon Diggs, big play guy. This is why I think Dallas is going to be, their secondary is going to be nice because Diggs is going to get to freelance a little bit more because his assignments are going to change. We've talked a shitload of football.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Brock Purdy in the driver's seat and what that means for Trey Lance and maybe the 49ers sucking at the draft again because you know what? They fuck up the top of the draft. Bosa was easy.
They drafted, even though he just left, I know McGlinchey was a guy that they got in the top 10. That was somebody that Kyle drafted.
They let him go for a reason.
He got paid a lot of money too by Denver. And so
Denver's desperate.
49. Well, look, the 49ers look at it this way. I saw Will Compton. There are guys that were Falcons players that are starting on that offensive line that weren't guys that were not like our guys here. Like they were, I guess, top pieces. But Trent Williams, they have guys there. So it's like I feel like he knows his scheme well enough to where he's like, I'm not paying you 5 years, $82 million. I'm not paying you that.
2017 was ugly for Kyle.
Who?
2017 was ugly for Kyle. His first draft.
Was that the year they drafted the dude? It wasn't DeForest Buckner.
No, that was before.
It was Solomon, right?
Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster.
Okay. And the issue with Reuben Foster, but he had question marks going into the draft that year.
Yeah, he hits women.
Yeah. Well, he was out of the league really quickly.
Yeah, because he hits women.
And Solomon Thomas just never lived up to, because they took him like third.
Yeah.
And he was like Stanford. He was a Stanford guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Let me just look at the 2017 draft.
You can't get mad at him the first year on the job, though. And what's funny is that as an offensive guy, he drafted defensive people.
And this is when they didn't have a quarterback yet, and they passed on. Well, they got Christian McCaffrey eventually, but they passed on Patty and Deshaun. Oh, golly. Jamal Adams. I think Jamal Adams is trash, but Marlon Humphrey, Tre'Davious White, Budda Baker, Marshawn Lattimore. What's my man's name? The running back from the Bengals who hit the woman?
Joe Mixon,
Kamara.
Keep talking. I'll turn my fan on. Keep going.
Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt. We got James Conner. Ooh, TJ Watt was in this draft. Juju was in this draft. Cooper Kupp was in this draft. They did get George Kittle in the 5th round. My goodness. What a draft.
Well, that saved it.
Mike Williams.
Does that not save it, though?
Huh?
That saves your draft, though.
Yeah, no. It does. It does. Listen. Let me read some of the first.
Like Travis
the first round to you.
The league, but like you could really argue blocking and receiving wise, like a combination of both.
He's the best combo of both in the league. He's just not healthy.
Yeah.
So 1 Myles Garrett, 2 Trubisky, 3 Solomon Thomas, 4 Fournette, 5 Corey Davis. What a terrible pick, Tennessee. I see why John Robinson got fired. 6 Jamal Adams, 7 Mike Williams, 8 McCaffrey, 9 John Ross, terrible pick. 10 Mahomes, 11 Marshawn Lattimore, 12 Deshaun Watson, 13 Hassan Reddick, 14 Derek Barnett, 15 Malik Hooker, 16 Marlon Humphrey, 17 John Allen. Damn, Tennessee again. 18 Adoree Jackson. Did John Robinson deserve to get fired just for this draft?
I would say so, because Adoree Jackson, he was the corner out of USC.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine drafting? And look, it's not that it.
Hey, we drafted Tack McKinley that draft.
Well, and now this is getting to my point. Even when I heard Adoree Jackson's name, now when I look at Tack just re-signed with the Cowboys. But
yeah, a pick right before Tre'Davious White.
How much of a red flag is it to draft a defensive player out of the Big 12 or the Pac-10?
I wouldn't.
Like, I want you to – can we name some of the great – and I'm not talking historically, but just recently, some of the better defensive players that come out of those conferences? I can't really think of it.
They don't exist because they don't play defense there.
I think that the last time I remember a Big 12 player being a great draft pick out of the Big 12 was probably Von Miller when Texas A&M was still in the Big 12. That might be the last great defensive player that I'm like, just off the top of my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, he was great, like, type shit. Like,
yeah.
Pac-12, I can't name any. I can't name too many great players that aren't skill position players out of the Pac-12.
In that draft, we took Duke Riley in the 3rd round before Chris Godwin, Kareem Hunt, Shaquille Griffin.
We didn't even have a need for that, though, in 2017.
Deontay Foreman, Kenny Galladay, Jonnu Smith.
But you got to look at our team, too, that year. We didn't have that need. Like, we had just came off the Super Bowl. We didn't need any running backs. We had 2 of them at the time. We had 2.
We still need a running back.
Certainly, we could have added one. You want to know what it is? Because even going up to the Super Bowl, there was all that talk about Devontae Freeman's contract. And, like, you know, Uncle Luke's camp basically was, like, kind of in control of that. Like, his wife was, like, his agent or some shit. And that was, like, a thing at the Super Bowl. I just remember they were talking about it.
Keep going.
Well, why is this even being talked about for this game? Like, why doesn't that just become the focus after the game, whether we win or lose? Like, What would be the point to talk about that? You know,
The one thing I've learned about black culture, and this is going to take us into the NBA, right?
okay.
So this is going to close out hour 2 of the show. We're going to get into hour 3, and hey guys, it's going to be a fucking long show. But anyways, get into hour 2. We're going to talk about we're going to talk more NBA now, more basketball. We're going to start with the NBA. But you're talking about Uncle Luke's wife representing Devontae Freeman, and the contract talks coming up in the Super Bowl. Here's why. Too many black people are poor, come from very little. So the money is the motivation. And you see that because you see what Carmelo Anthony did. He made sure he got that extra year when he got traded from the Knicks, from Denver to the Knicks, when he should have just finished out that season with Denver and then signed with the Knicks. Yeah, you only got a 4-year deal. But hey, nigga, you're still up. You're 100 million up. You're good. But you want to make sure you get every dollar. And I'll never knock somebody for wanting to get every dollar. But it goes into what's the motivation, right? And Uncle Luke's wife coming in here, they're thinking about money. They're not thinking about football. Like football is not the primary focus. And I'm not mad at the agent for that being the thing, but if I'm the player, what's more important to me? And because I'm a Falcons fan, I care more about the winning on the football field than which our players are getting paid. I want everybody to get paid and everybody to be happy. But I'm a capitalist. And I look at it being a capitalist from both places, right? If I'm a player, I want the most I can get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an owner. I want to pay you as little as I can to get the most out of you. Yeah. No, I want you to think I'm going to re-sign you after you leave to get paid what you're owed. And you go, damn, bro. I gave them $100 million worth of work, and they gave me $80 million worth of money. As a football fan, that's what I want. I want the Falcons to win every contract.
I like it when guys underperform and then perform. Like I tell you what, like I look at Caleb McGarry. We traded back into the first round to get Caleb McGarry. A lot of people don't realize that he was pretty underwhelming, and that's why we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. And
damn that. Let's talk about the guy now. Let's talk about Vic. We got an all-pro season out of him on his rookie deal. We didn't take his 5th-year option. We didn't extend him. And you know what? We got an all-pro, $17 million pass rusher season out of you for a contract we paid you pretty much that.
You know what people feel? This is one thing I'll say why Vic gets a kind of a bad rep. We just have always had terrible pass rush. And like the thing is that of the 5 years that Vic played for the Falcons, he like led them in sacks 4 of those years.
He was not a bad pass rusher. He did not have
he was fit more to be a complimentary pass rusher to an actual great one. Somebody where he was going to be the guy getting double teams for the Falcons, because who the fuck do we have on the other end? They added Tack, I guess. He was supposed to be the other bookend, but like, Grady did his thing up the middle. Like Grady does his thing up the middle, but like
Vic was his best when he had
Dwight Freeney.
Dwight Freeney
even that year got us like 7 sacks. Like he was situational.
And Vic was an undersized pass rusher who, bro, he just wasn't big enough for the double team. Vic played running back in high school. He was a running back and receiver in high school.
And obviously, what helped too was, we were up 2 touchdowns on people in the 4th quarter, so it was pretty easy because you knew that it was obvious passing downs. We had big leads. Teams were gonna have to throw. He could pin his ears back. But
Hey, but look, I totally messed up that transition. We were talking about Uncle Luke negotiating a contract because I was supposed to tie it into basketball players. And so many basketball players, unlike football players, are thinking about themselves and they're not thinking about the team. And this is not a judgment, this is an observation, right? We see it so much in the NBA that they care about them. They don't care about win because guess what? Wins don't pay for your condo. Wins don't pay for your Maybach. Wins don't pay for your escorts. They don't pay for your weed. They don't pay for your investments. They don't pay for nothing. Like wins are cool, but the money is what pays. And Bradley Beal is getting a supermax contract. I mean, you can't lose the asset, but maybe you should. You know,
It's any different than Dame Lillard. Outside of Dame being just a better player, but what makes them their situations any different?
Dame Lillard actually took Portland to a Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
Brad Beal has not seen a second round without John Wall.
Okay. And they needed Paul Pierce to even do that. Paul Pierce was a big part of why they fucking went. And Paul Pierce was on his last legs as a player.
Not arguing with you, but Brad,
he was clutch for them.
But when that team was at its best, and unfortunately IT went crazy. That year, them niggas was nice.
You're saying the year the Hawks beat them, right? Because we beat them in the second round.
I'm talking about the year that they got put out by the IT Celtics.
Okay.
When they went 7. IT went crazy with his fucked up hip after his sister passed away.
Yeah.
That was probably their best Wizards team. That's the team that John Wall said that they was gonna beat LeBron with, which is crazy. Y'all weren't gonna beat LeBron. But I think they would have gave him 6.
Hell, the Celtics gave him 6, didn't they?
7.
IT gave him 7?
No. Never mind. I'm talking about Kyrie.
Yeah, I know. Well, Kyrie wasn't even there.
No, but we were at the book in Vegas screaming "fuck out Horford."
That was rookie Tatum.
Yeah,
and second year Brown and Al Horford and Kelly Olynyk and guys like that.
Terry Rozier.
Right? Scary Terry. What got Terry kind of paid? Well, got him swapped for Kemba basically because they were moving on from Kyrie and then Kemba.
Yeah, because Michael Jordan smartly didn't want to give Kemba the supermax.
And I don't blame him. Can we argue maybe that's Jordan's best executive move? That and drafting LaMelo. He's been hurt. Drafting LaMelo was smart too.
One of the best
drafted LaMelo.
MJ not giving Kemba the supermax and saying, because here's what I think about, right? Too often the great players don't know how to evaluate talent because they want to compare them against themselves. But then when you talk about making that talent high-end talent, MJ has to go. Hold on. My last 3 years I made 30 mil. And that shit was crazy. But I'm MJ. Am I really about to give Kemba 5 years, 250? Kemba? No, fuck no.
He's like, nah.
This nigga is John Starks.
He's like, I'll give Terry Rozier 4 years, 75, and we'll call it a day. He's gonna do almost the same, and he's younger than you too. Like you've been here for 7 years,
and you got bad knees.
And what happened? Is Kemba even in the league?
No, Dallas signed him earlier in the year, and he ain't there no more.
Not even good enough to hold Luka's jockstrap, huh?
No. So let's give MJ some credit for actually making a smart move.
Which actually, just while we're here and we are talking basketball, obviously that came out too, that Michael Jordan was possibly maybe going to sell the team.
I think that MJ's so rich that he does not want to be bothered with owning an NBA team. And
Kemba Walker is 32.
Huh?
Kemba Walker is 32.
Yeah, that nigga's my age.
Out of the NBA.
That nigga's my age.
He's 32 and out of the league.
But no, MJ.
He's the all-time leading scorer in like Hornets history. / Bobcats. I don't know if they count. I don't know how they do that. Like, because he's a Bobcat too. So like,
yeah, I don't know if they throw in the Charlotte Hornets from.
Well, you would think that they would just let the Pelicans maybe keep the Bobcats history. Maybe. I know the team because like the Ravens don't take over the Browns history, even though they moved from Cleveland to Baltimore.
Yeah, shit's confusing.
I don't know, but continue. But with Jordan,
the good franchises stay home.
Right, they don't have to leave, or at least they certainly don't have to change their names. Because even the Raiders have moved around like 3 times, but like they've been the Raiders. You know what I mean? They don't change their names.
Hey, Nico, the fraudulent Raiders fan, he should be a Chargers fan, and I'm just standing on that. He's from San Diego.
Him and Trap, they're both San Diego guys that are Raiders fans.
The way
they explain it to me is that there are just way more Raiders fans. Like that, like people grow up Raiders fans.
That's true because I live there, but I still think it's trash. Because there is a
you're from a place you don't want to cheer for where you're from. Like it's I don't know. Like,
and there's a strong Chargers fan base down there. Like they may not go to the games, but they go to the bars. And the Raiders just have a better history, so it's easier to be a Raiders fan than be a Chargers fan. Like,
and then and we gotta think about the influence of parents too, like especially if they grew up in the same, if their parents are from San Diego or lived in San Diego or just California in general, and they grew up fans of the Raiders, and they're like, nah, my son's gonna be a Raiders fan type shit. There's that aspect of it too, I guess. You could add in.
That's still bullshit, bro. You're supposed
to.
No,
I'm with you. I mean, my dad's a Cowboys fan, right? Like I'm not a Cowboys fan, but
you're supposed to claim your city because that's where you are, and you just fall in love with it. Unless you're Josh Holsey and he picks whoever he wants, because
well, he's not from anywhere, kind of.
Was his oyster?
Yeah,
Hey, if they listen to how we talked about Josh Holsey on here, they wouldn't think that he was our friend.
Oh, either that or they would just question, is this guy stable?
Josh is great.
Is he you guys' friend that has all the issues, or
no? He's not. Josh is more than great. He's fun to shit on, probably because he's doing so well in life, and not that he's doing so much better than everybody else, but he's actually doing well in life, and it's fun to pick on him because he's like the California lib in the group.
Well, he's turned into it.
Yeah, he's a military brat, so he doesn't really have a home. So he's just easy to pick on, and he has tough skin. And he'll say "fuck you," then pour you up the best old fashioned you've ever had because he's a California lib and he buys his oranges from the fucking orange patch down the street.
Right.
Fucking cock. Hey, but let's get back to this NBA. Let's talk about this NBA player relations, right? We saw in the last week, Kyrie got 2 fans ejected from games for talking to him in a way that he didn't like. And then Bradley Beal is being investigated for battery for knocking a fan's hat off because the fan said to him, "You fucked up my parlay." Or "fuck you fucked up my parlay," words to that effect. And I think this is an interesting crossroads, right? Because fans talk shit. Fans heckle. I mean, we were at the MGM screaming "fuck Al Horford" sports book out in here, so he couldn't get us thrown out the book. But we literally had the whole sports book in Game 7 of the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals yelling "fuck Al Horford." I don't know who they were betting with. Hopefully they were betting with LeBron because they were fucking dogs.
Yeah, we couldn't. I put, now granted, it wasn't nothing serious, but I put $1,000 on. I was like, let me get Bron in Game 7. I said, I'm to go back to the finals. I was like, they gonna deny him? It just adjacent in that. Look, no shots to Jason Tatum. Obviously, he's terrific today, but rookie Tatum taking.
Parlay Pete.
The league, Adam Silver was like, all right, Bron, we're gonna put something in front of you. This is what you got to go through. And they were like, rookie Tatum. And this nigga Bron, they were like, yeah, we're gonna dog you. We're gonna label you as a dog because you guys haven't won a game in Boston all series.
Parlay Pete, question for you. If we're in the NBA Finals, Game 7 in Boston, Lakers Celtics, are you taking Jason Tatum or Bron today? If Bron's the underdog, same odds. I'm not saying you're gonna bet $1,000 on Bron, but you're betting Bron.
Probably.
You trust LeBron and AD in a Game 7 more than you trust Jason Tatum.
Not just a Game 7, but more so just what's at stake for LeBron. It's either lose another NBA Finals or get your 5th and tie Kobe. Like, there's so much you can get to as a Laker. Like, there's so much more on the line for him. Tatum and them, yes, their first title type thing. So, like, there's a lot on the line there, too. But, like, that could be LeBron's last chance legitimately at winning a title, too. So, I think that it's the type of game where he lays it all out and, like, kind of like you've seen Rocky IV, right?
No, I've seen no Rockies.
You've never seen Rocky IV?
I'm dug in on Game of Thrones, Rocky, and
you've never seen Rocky IV?
I haven't seen Rocky.
I understand if people haven't seen like the original, like the.
I don't know. At this point, I'm dug in on Game of Thrones, Rocky, and Fast and Furious. I'm not watching. I'm that guy.
Rocky IV is probably the best of the series, but basically in Rocky IV, it's the one where he fights Ivan Drago, the Russian, right?
Yeah, bro, that was propaganda. So Rocky had to win, but he had to get his ass whooped first.
Right, but the point is, he took such a bad beating, even though he won the fight, and then he won over the hearts of Russians and Americans on Christmas Day in Moscow. And at the end of the fight, heading into Rocky V, basically he had fucking brain damage. I'm saying that LeBron would go so far to where he might blow it to where like he just is never LeBron James again just to win that finals. To where he truly does finally take like that step back to where that next year maybe he's missing games because he laid it all out there like type shit. Like he's just whatever it takes to get that one because that one would be so important to him and his legacy.
Totally agree with you.
Very important.
Totally agree with you. But like getting back to this thing, are with the players sitting out as much as they do, load management, and I don't hate load management when you're thinking about winning an NBA championship. You're trying to come up with a formula that helps you best win the championship. But based on the money, pro sports are entertainment before they are competition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what the athlete says because you can go to LA Fitness, you can go play semi-pro football, you can go play flag football at your local wherever for competition. It's entertainment first, which is why it sells. When the players don't show up, which it doesn't really happen in the NFL, MLB, they play 162 games and you can actually get cheap-ass tickets to a baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA, I put this in the comments when some people put some stuff out there. The NBA is the Democrat Party, man. I think, at their core, they have the right ideas, but their execution speaks to the loud voices more than the core, that they actually disenfranchise your average day-to-day people. Because we just saw Caitlin Clark on ESPN have a higher rated game than any other NBA game. Don't get me wrong, she can ball, but she's not better than any NBA player who's played on ESPN on TV. I've watched ESPN games. I've seen some great individual basketball players play.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a 40-point triple dub. James Harden, Houston type shit. It's not NBA basketball, right? But why did people watch it? Because they connect with it, NBA players, the NBA is failing to connect because it's like, oh, load management. I gotta preserve my body. Well, Joe Sixpack, he's not he's not doing that. He's going to the factory and he's coming home and he's drinking his fucking six pack, going to his son's recreation baseball game, getting really bored because that shit is boring, and he's drinking beer or drinking liquor out of his flask while he's there, or in his Coke bottle. And then he's going back home and he's living his life. And then he's taking his kid to one NBA game that he planned out at the beginning of the year because he saved up his Christmas bonus so that his son could see LeBron play against fucking the Pacers when they came into town. And then LeBron sits out because it's the second game of a back-to-back. Then we got Bradley Beal ready to fight a gambler because the dude said, hey, you fucked up my parlay. Yeah, dog. You fucked up my money. I invested in you. The betting platform that I invested in pays you. Pays your league. So your salary cap is higher, you get more money. Yeah, I'm fucking pissed off. A fan says something crazy to Kyrie gets him removed. Another fan says something crazy to Kyrie gets him removed. I'm not saying
to Russ gets him removed.
Exactly. I'm not saying that fans should have zero decorum. But when you are in an industry that is forward facing, where people come to watch you work, people get to publicly criticize you, and you got to fucking take it because you get paid. You get paid more because of the money that you bring in.
There's two things I got on that. This gets back to the Shannon Sharp thing too, while people were upset he didn't get fucking ejected, because he basically did the same thing. And he did it a little bit more because he stepped on the court and was pointing fingers. But and we get it. We know who he is. And he not only was obviously whatever he said then on the court, but obviously the next day on TV, he's doing it too. Or the day before, he's doing it on TV. So because and that's his job, right? He gets paid to, I think Charles Barkley said it about KD. He's like, I get paid to give my opinion. And he said, that's just my opinion. And so, no disrespect to KD, he said, but that's how I view it. And I'm a former player type shit. But okay, that's one part of it. But then the second part of it,
he'll bust KD's ass.
The second part of it is that the NBA cares more about the players than it does the fans. And that's obvious. While, funny enough, the NFL cares more about the fans than they do the players, in my opinion. If you look at it.
Exactly. But Parlay Pete, that's why I compared him to the Democrats. The Democrats care more about the wild views of the enlightened politicians than they do about.
You mean the forward thinkers?
Than they do about the Americans. Because you think about these they
care more about their agenda.
Right. But you think about these highly volatile issues that are discussed. I bet your dad doesn't give a fuck about those issues.
Of what, the Democratic Party? Or
yeah, what the Democratic Party is pushing. And not because he is intolerant of those people who may be affected by that. But it just does not cross his desk as something to give a fuck about on a day-to-day.
Yeah, and let me tell you, politically, even just in general, even for myself, I'm the type of person where you get up and you go get it. Ideally, I don't even have a preference. Like I said, because I don't identify with either party. But
what do you identify as? You have to identify as something.
There is certainly, if I'm picking, there is certainly a way I like to think about things, and it typically is not the Democrat. I like to consider myself as somebody that is progressive, but I also am conservative. So it's I don't think that I can't get into that extreme stuff.
I just want you to know that me, you, Julian, JP, and Josh could do a great political show.
Maybe we should put that on the docket for.
I mean, like
even if it's in the distant future, like the summer.
Yeah. I'm saying it's something that we could do one time, but I think it's something that we could come back to a lot because there's a lot of meat on that bone.
There is. I'd like to bring other people in too. I want to get different perspectives from different.
I want to get an AOC.
Not just necessarily working class, but like an industry.
You want to hear what a factory worker?
I would love to bring. Like, I want to get somebody white on that is Republican, even a white Dem, or I mean, I've got an Asian buddy of mine that is Republican. Like, I want to get so many different factors in on that.
At some point, I'm going to get my boy Kyle on with you. And we're going
to get a woman on, even if it's Kyle. Oh, as you just said, your boy Kyle. You can get girl Kyle. You know, like, and we know how she feels, obviously, too.
Yeah, I mean, she was supporting Bernie in 2016.
Right.
So
I was a fan of Andrew. I thought Andrew Yang would have been a good person to ran in 2020.
I'm a fan of Andrew Yang, and even the Forward Party that he was part of starting.
He's ahead of his time. I think that maybe further down in the line, somebody like him could be president. But
so, do you think the NBA is disconnected from the fans?
Yes, but like I said, they care more about their players than they do their fans, while the NFL cares more about their fans than they do their players. And it shows, and that's why they make more money, because we appreciate that. You know, the Falcons, look, we had season tickets to the Hawks all them years. We probably had season tickets to the Hawks from like 2001 to like 2009, and then we stopped getting tickets. Then we got them again from like 11 to like 14. And they ain't never give me no shit like this. Like, you know what I mean? Now, granted, look, now we've been rocking with the Falcons since I was born. So I guess we have a longer history, but at the same time, Hawks ain't never said, man, here's a complimentary anything. Falcons kiss ass, baby. They like, hey, you want some road? I text my rep. You want road tickets to this game? Boom. Here your tickets. We'll see you there. We're gonna have beer and food at the tailgate too. You want that? Like,
you told your rep, hey, my friend's coming downstairs. That nigga was at the door waiting on me.
That's what I'm saying. That too. It's just more personal. And that's the league, though. That the NFL realizes that this is a business. This isn't a statement. This is it's a business. The fuck, like, and that's why maybe they don't. Why too? When people criticize the NFL because they don't know how to handle issues that are looked at, whether it's the concussion aspect of it, the DeMar Hamlin thing, when people were like, did they stop the game? Like, and there was like a thought about not stopping the game, or, the kneeling, like, people were like, did they handle it correctly? Hiring of black coaches. Like, if you look at it, like the NBA doesn't have that issue, but no, and there are more black coaches in the NBA because they hire more former players to be coaches, which most former players are black. But like, you don't ever hear those issues with the NBA, even though how many black coaches are in the NBA?
Enough.
Let me type it in. StatMuse probably can give this to me really quick.
I mean, the difference between the NBA and the NFL, the NBA actually has like bad black coaches, like my man.
Doc Rivers, low key. Check this out. Wow. In the 2022-2023 season, there were 14 white head coaches in comparison to 15 African American coaches. So that makes me
Nate got fired.
So who's the one coach that's Spo? I was about to say, I'm like, well, who's the non-black and white coach? Spo. Spo's the only Latino coach. But
he better than all of them.
Okay, but this also is the highest year of this.
Okay.
last 2021 season, there were 21 white coaches and 7 black. So that would mean that every coach that got fired in 2021 was replaced by a black coach.
Well, yeah, there was some outrage, so then they had to like correct. The NBA is ran by Twitter. The NFL is ran by their balance sheet.
Well, hold on, what is this?
Damn, Tatum had 40.
They're saying that Spo is Asian American, which I guess. So is he Indian?
I don't know what Spo is. I just know he can coach his ass off.
Who's the Hispanic coach then?
You gotta tell me. I have no idea.
And did Spo didn't take, unless he's just changing up how he views himself. Who? Let me see. Hispanic NBA coach.
What, bro? They really had a strip.
Charlotte Hornets coach.
Oh,
He got fired last year though. James Borrego.
he don't even coach them no more.
Yeah, he got fired last year. So was the Hispanic coach. So Spo actually is considered Asian.
They fucked Borrego over. Borrego should have kept that job. He was actually doing a pretty good job there. But I don't think LaMelo rocked with him. And I think that's the difference between the NBA is that they are so beholden to the talent. So for you socialist types who care about the proletariat, that's what you get when you look at the NBA. The NBA actually serves the worker more than they serves the owner. And the business model's not as productive. And they have a wider reach in the NFL because of the amount of talent that they have from different places in the world.
Well, and it's just the NBA is more popular technically overseas than the NFL. Nobody, the NBA, like you said, because there's a wide reach, because there's so many players that come from different places around the world. The NFL is popular as fuck here, is what it is.
And it still makes more money. You know why? Because at the end of the day, cash is cow. Cash is king, and capitalism is the answer. So the NBA needs to do a better job of actually connecting with the fans. Stop kicking out you're kicking out fans who have got courtside seats. You ain't kicking nobody out from the 300s who was calling Kyrie an anti-Semitic nigger. I hate this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he can't hear it.
Well, and then fighting people up there too.
Right. You kicking out the dude who paid
15 stacks.
10, 15 bands for a ticket.
For him and his bitch to sit there and then, let me not say his bitch. Boy, I got to clean that up. But him and his bitch. No, for real. Yeah, him and the girl. You kicking them out of their good seat. Either that or the guy he's closing the deal with. I mean,
because Kyrie's mad. I got a question for you. If you're David Griffin, do you trade Zion Williamson?
Yeah, and as we kind of talked about in pre-production, I don't know why you don't try. At least gauge the interest.
Okay.
See what people would think.
I mean, because I look at it like this. Zion
is still young, and when he does play, he's productive as hell. I mean, he was an all-star starter this year, and they were playing great. I mean, they were in first place in the West before he got hurt. So it's not a matter of if he's productive. But Bill Parcells said it best. Your best ability is availability, and he's just not available. And in the NBA, time and time again, we've got to see this so many different times. His being a little different, I think, kind of like Derrick Rose had bad ankles, but like
Derrick Rose had
injuries.
But Derrick Rose had injuries that we saw happen.
Right. Zion, he's limping down the court one game and might even finish said game. And then they're like, yeah, he's out 2 months. And it's like, how? Like, or he had a setback in fucking rehab or something. Like,
bro, what do you think Jera would do if Zion was a Cowboy?
He'd let his ass go and wouldn't think fucking twice about it.
You know, I was listening to some
He would have never given him that extension that he fucking got.
No. Well, NFL owners have dicks too. Like they got pride. But I was
Well,
listening.
not unless you're Arthur Blank and you think Desmond Ritter's the answer.
Well, yeah, he's wrong.
Hey, imagine going to the horse race and saying, "Man, I got the weakest horse in the stable, but I'm backing my money on this motherfucker." At them long.
No. Here it is.
Now, if it hits, it pays off. Great. Like if he shuts us the fuck up, the media the fuck up, Falcons win football games. Desmond Ridder becomes a guy to where we're talking about. Man, let's talk about his extension that's about to become a. Then we can shut the fuck up. But if it don't, they look incompetent.
Parlay Pete, you know what?
They lose fans, bro. It gets bad if it's not.
You know what Arthur's doing? Arthur Blank's doing? He's taking Kent State on the spread against against UGA.
Yeah.
Now
he's taking money line, bro.
Well, no. Because Kent State covers that spread. But nobody would have bet Kent State to cover that spread, especially when you looked at the way they covered that spread. They didn't cover it like, oh, we got a cheap-ass field goal to cover. It's like, oh, no, we could have won this game. Like, we were close to winning this game.
Right.
That's what Arthur Blank's doing, but
you're actually comparing it literally to the Georgia game that was played with Kent State.
Yes. That actual game where No, not in general. I'm talking about that specific game that we played them way too close. But fucking, I would trade Zion if I'm David Griffin. I'm trying to trade Zion, because dude, bro, you don't show up. I think you're great. I think you're the second best player on my team. I still think that Brandon Ingram is a better championship piece than Zion. No. Zion's better than Brandon Ingram, but I think Brandon Ingram is a better championship piece. Because
he's still a 2 though at best. He can be a 2 on a depending on
we're not
he can be the 2.
Parlay Pete, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think Zion can be the 1 on a championship team.
We just don't know because he can't he's not there. But when he
can't be the 1.
Like you want to know what it is? I've never seen this man play any meaningful basketball, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know how he reacts in a playoff situation because I haven't seen him play in the playoffs. So I don't know. Like I've seen what he's done in the regular season and it's a light 27, 8 and 5. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's that's fantastic, bro. He's in his field goal percentage is 63%. So it's like it's fantastic. Like it's great. But
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So during the bubble, I made a lot of money betting basketball. But I don't bet like every weekend, every day. Like I don't. Like I bet when I feel like it, but I don't regularly bet, right?
You're a social gambler.
Right. But I killed the bubble. Like
same.
I did a great fucking job in the bubble. Would you take gambling advice from me today about basketball based on what I did in the bubble? Even though I don't bet on the regular?
No, that league's different.
And that's my point about Zion. Zion has showed that he can be good. He can be great. But he has not consistently shown under multiple sets of circumstances that he's great.
He's a 2-time All-Star starter.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was an All-Star starter his last year. And
he deserved it.
He didn't deserve it. It was legacy.
Yes, he did. It was his last All-Star game.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, he deserved it on legacy, he deserved it on legacy, not on court.
He wasn't that bad. People act like Jordan sucked dick with the Wizards. He was still averaging like 22, 23. And
I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he was bad. He wasn't as good as Vince Carter was in 2001 and 2003. Sorry, he wasn't.
Fair.
So yeah. So that's the point I'm making.
fair, but Jordan, and obviously, as you know, I was at that game, and that is best memory ever was him. What I thought was going to be the end of the game, him making the MJ fadeaway over Sean Marion. I thought that was game. It was great. He had like 20 points. He was going to definitely win MVP. Like, I mean, it was set up very well. And then like Jermaine O'Neal fouled like Kobe at the three, shooting the three. Kobe, of course, makes all 3 free throws, and then the game goes into overtime. Then it goes to double overtime. Then KG, the West wins, and KG wins MVP of that game.
Yeah, The point I'm making is that like we let MJ show up, but there were more qualified people on that day for that time to be there.
We were there to see Jordan, man.
Hey, you hear what Shaq said?
You said I had not actually heard it until you had said it before we got on, but
You're supposed to say no when I bring it up like that.
What are you talking about, Lee?
Hold it.
sorry. But nah, Shaq said he was jealous of LeBron. He was like professionally jealous of LeBron for passing him on passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the all-time scoring list because he felt like it should have been him. And this goes into why I don't want to hear analysis from Shaq. Like I watch the TNT show for entertainment, but I don't watch it for analysis because Shaq is a lazy analyst, and Shaq, was a lazy player. Shaq was a great player.
Who's the best analyst
On that show?
Yeah, I want to see if you're gonna say the same things as me.
Kenny.
Yeah, and it's not even close, right?
No, Kenny is the best analyst. Chuck is the best talking head. Shaq, they could take Shaq off the show and their ratings wouldn't change, if you ask me.
They did it so long without him anyways.
Shaq brings something to the show. He brings the superstardom of Chuck and the rings of Kenny to where he can say a lot of stuff. But if you ever listen to Chuck talk about Shaq on a different show and why he fucked with Shaq, he goes, you know, Shaq's always gonna go. He's always gonna go to his rings, and that's when I know I got him.
Shaq,
just the same way that Shaq was lazy in his play. I'm gonna let you go. The same way Shaq was lazy in his play, he's lazy in his analysis. Like, hey, dog, yeah, you could go get 28 and 15 on any given night by yourself, no question. Give me the ball. I dunk it. I grab rebound. Three blocks, easy. I got it. I'm Shaq. And yeah, but when you try to hold people to your standard, Shaq, and say they're not good because they don't do what you did, nah, nigga, you were amazing, and you were fucking lazy and amazing. I don't know what the fuck you gotta say.
Shaq is great for one-liners.
The big Aristotle.
And when I say one-liners, I mean even more so from the perspective of
one stat line.
He's Shaqing a fool. He's Shaqing a fool. He's Shaqing a fool. Zimbabwe chicken. He's like, I'm sorry, Christian Wood. He said, I wasn't familiar with your game. Shaq's good for one-liners, like for just shit like that. Like, you know, but the thing is, too, Shaq is also the addition to that group that a lot of people maybe that watch it, like we didn't really get to watch Charles and Kenny play like that.
Nah,
so like
too young.
That's what I'm saying. They, you know, I remember basketball when I was young. Like I remember basketball when I was 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah, bro. I remember. Like I think I said on this podcast,
most kids too. You're fans of who? The young stars, bro. Like,
well, I came in as a Michael Jordan fan, and I remember the '98 finals. Like, I remember watching that shot and Michael Jordan retiring. Like, knowing that was Michael Jordan's last game, and crying. Bro, I was at my uncle's house in Augusta, crying on the couch bed in the living room next to my grandmama because I was like, "Dang, Michael Jordan is done." Like, I remember that.
So I don't remember watching that game. at all. But what I do remember is going to the game, his last game here, because they played it at the Georgia Dome. And my mom, obviously, Falcons, Hawks, tickets. We went, and we took the MARTA too. We took it from Indian Creek down here. And so, like,
hey, you know who else took the MARTA?
Who?
Hove did.
Hove took the subway once.
Hey, real quick before we go into this story, I want to let you know I went to that same game, and we were there together before we knew each other back in 03.
Oh, the Wizards game too?
Yeah.
I got Jerry Stackhouse's autograph. Yeah, so many stories from the NBA. But
I was in
like,
those buddy. I was the poor people.
We, look, I didn't have any control over my tickets, man. We had great seats. I mean, we sat right where the away team came out. It was always great. It's fun. I mean, I got to see so many of those guys up close. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was always really cool, dabbing them up. Like, I mean, the whole night. Like, I'm one of those kids, like, when they show them after they do their interviews and shit, and they come through, like, I was one of those kids. I was always one of those kids for the Atlanta games. But, like,
nigga, I've been with you after a Falcons game. You one of them grown-ass men right there on the fucking field. Shit.
Yeah, well, but Justice,
I don't, not as excited. You're not excited. It's just
yeah. Now we know a guy like how Isaac came down. Now we know a guy. It's one thing, but
there's also the piece of I can fuck y'all girls if I want to.
Certainly, we've been in the same rooms.
I like that. I like me.
I'm choosing from the same pool that you're choosing from. And
I'm confident that I'm going to be successful no matter who you're looking at.
Yeah. And so, but yeah,
hey,
many
real quick, Parlay Pete. I know I'm cutting you off and I'm being a terrible moderator. But how good does it feel when you know you're in certain rooms with people who have quote unquote more status than you? And it's like, I'm going to win today. I know I'm going to win today.
It's always about just having a chance and or not even a chance, an opportunity, because that's where I think, where that stuff doesn't come in. It's when the opportunity isn't there. Like, I think a lot of people, if they could get the opportunity, could be successful. But most people, and that could be in any capacity. I mean, not just getting women, but like
Trading Places, a great movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And so, exactly. Yes. And so, or even if you look at something in like Butterfly Effect, right? Like, I'm sure you've seen that movie. Okay, Butterfly Effect. But basically how one thing could change something and then it lead to something else and then make your whole world different.
Dog, let me tell you what. I was telling the wife before we recorded today, right? I was talking about her hometown, and she went to, she went to public high school out there. No biggie. But I know the city. And I said, well, I wouldn't want to move back there if I can't put my kids in this school or this school. If I look at the houses that are available there, a 3 or 4 bedroom house that's available in the area I want to live in is like 1.2, 1.5. And they go, what? For this? No yard? Nah, I'm staying in the South, bro. Right? And I said, yeah, we wouldn't want to go to the high school you went to. It's no shots at your high school, but because I don't want to send my kids to the high school I went to. Because it's not the best high school in the geographical area. So we have this whole conversation about it. I'm just like, here's the thing. It's not about what you get in the classroom. It's about the network you build. And she goes, kids aren't thinking about networks. I go, no, they're not. But when they are thinking about networks, when they're older and the friends that they have, who are their real friends, are in spaces that they want to be in or are elevating their thought process of what they think they can do, they've gotten better at life. You know what I mean? Like one of our friends said, hey, I just got hired by this firm. So if any of y'all are interested, let me know.
That, and then, that could go a ton of different ways. Like, I mean, I look at
Well, look at you. You going to Mount Vernon. I highly doubt that it changed your aspirations. But
it gave me a new outlook on life for sure. I mean, I said it gave me a new outlook on life for sure. Just in a sense of it was so much.
You know what? I take that back because
it told me the real world, bro. Like just in a sense of like, I didn't even look at it from a perspective of, first of all, I thought it was cool, bro, being a nigga that went to an all-black school to go to an all-white. Like, I thought that was cool in general because it's just like, even if you watch a movie like Atlanta, I was like, damn, I'm Esquire. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to a degree. Like,
bro.
Like, I am Esquire. Like, that's me. Like, literally.
I remember being that guy at a country white school, and I also remember going to Morehouse and being like, dog, I'm gonna do 4 years in the military, then I'm gonna go be a teacher, a high school teacher. And I get to Morehouse and I meet people at Morehouse. I hang out with Morehouse alums, my friends, after I leave Morehouse, and I go, oh, there's no way in hell I can maintain this lifestyle being a high school teacher making $54,000 a year. Like, get the fuck out of here, nigga. Like, oh, yeah. I'm not against working with kids. But if y'all think y'all going to pay me $50,000, I'm going to be happy with that shit. Oh, no. And this is where I may create like a divide between people from different walks of life. I'll be honest with y'all. If I am making $50,000 a year, I don't care what my wife is making. I'm poor.
You like the, you know, and that'll be a whole nother podcast, low key, talking about that in depth. But like, I think that like just in general, Hunter, like, whew, boy, look, and the way that this world's looking, man.
Let me give you some like.
I don't know how motherfuckers be so low. I really don't, bro. Because
let me give you some transparency.
No way, like
from 2018 up until I moved to Albany, I was making over 100. Because of the way I get paid, how that shit works, I'm making close to 100. I'm not making 100 right now. And I'm in Albany, Georgia.
Well, and you got to think about it this way too. Even if you're making 100, right? And let's just say like it's the precipice of fucking 100 to 115, right? Like after taxes, bro, depending on like your tax situation. Like I know for me, obviously, I've been making 6 figures since I graduated. So like even then, like it was, first of all, the cost of living was way less than it is today. Like my expenses are much higher today. But like two, then you add in like obviously there's nuances like the gambling. Like I made more money gambling than I do from my salary. But like at the same time, you know, and that could happen in a day. For real though. But like at the same time, you tax that shit. When you tax 100K, motherfucker, if you're just a single dude, you know, you're claiming zeros across the board, you're probably taking home like 66, 67,000 after taxes. Like
you talk about taxes, right? And I was talking to my wife about this shit because my wife is from California. And for those who don't know, she's from Monterey, California. Monterey, California is a rich people from the Bay vacation city, right? And one of the cities on the outskirts of Monterey is Carmel by the Sea. Hey, I can't wait till we actually have the wedding so I can take y'all out to Barmel, the spots out Carmel. It's fun, rich people partying. You can definitely find yourself in a cuck situation on accident and not even realize it.
Oh, a cuck situation?
Oh, bro, absolutely. Like it's like the weird rich people shit that you read about and you see on social media. You can find yourself in that shit, but like you're so deep into it that you don't realize that's what it is until you're talking to this girl and you think you about to get some ass, and then her husband shows up and, hey, how you doing? And the wife is explaining to him y'all's whole conversation, and you're like, oh, shorty, I was trying to hit. Why you telling him?
And more importantly, you were acting like you were single or
Exactly, right. So what's that all to say? Like, it's some wild shit that goes on out there. But we were just talking about it, and I'm just looking at, bro. I'm looking at houses. Nigga, they got like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom condos going for like $650. Yeah, look at you. Why?
well, not even just why, like no. Like,
Exactly. And then like
like
and
and then
then like
and then I'm getting taxed in California too. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that.
and then you're looking at the family house. You're looking at the family houses, right? You're 3 and 4 bed. You're 3 and 4 beds, right? And it's just like 1.5. And I go, hold on, 1.5 California taxes, no yard. Hey, dog, we going to Georgia or Texas?
And even, man, let me tell you, look, that's why I say what I said. I just,
Dog, if I'm paying $10,000 a month for my mortgage and I don't have an acre, me being from the South, nigga, I don't even got an acre and I'm paying $10,000 a month. I don't respect me. That goddamn beach weather ain't that good.
yeah, but that's the motivation too. One thing I realized is just to make more money. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Like,
and this is the crazy part. That shit's like out here. And it is really the wherewithal and the want to knock on those doors. Like, because you can knock, there's thousands, tens of thousands of doors. Not everybody is not going to say no. Like, that's just not the way that this works. Like everybody will, and I guess depending on what it is that you're doing, right? Like, whether it's your own company or you work for somebody, like, there are still just so many different doors. Everybody's not going to say no. And it's just, how far are you willing to go to keep knocking on doors? How many doors are you looking for? How many doors do you want to find?
let me tell you, Parlay Pete.
Some doors you're going to tell them, not like forcefully, like, no, we're working with you, but you're going to come up with the right formula to get in that door. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get in that door. That's why I was so happy even about the contract I just got, because I've knocked on doors and I've been denied, even with the resume and everything being like, well, why not? Like, why not us or something? But like,
They probably didn't like your skin or your long hair.
That could have, maybe that was it too. But like, these people got straight to the point, and I could tell that they could use us. And I can't wait. We're getting started with them obviously next month. I can't wait, bro, to grow off of that, and then just the confidence building that adds to it, because it's just like, damn. No, I did the number on myself, and I looked at how much more money that is revenue wise. And of course, profit will come with that. But like, just even revenue to grow, like, yep, this is what my company does in revenue. And taking that to the table, or just knowing that going into the next time that I do it, to where not on some, man, I'm good without y'all, even if y'all don't want me type shit, but just on some, here, I work. Now it's a different type of business too. It's not a tire company. It's not nothing in the automotive industry. It's something completely different.
But it changes your portfolio. So then when you're talking to someone else, you're showing some like diversity in what you've done and what you can do. But hey, run this, because
call them and ask them about me.
Hey, and keep running this, because we're gonna close this out. Then we're gonna get into our our non-sports related part of the pod because we got to talk some of this other shit real quick before we go to bed.
All right, let's try and keep it 25 minutes.
Yeah, we can do that. Just let me pee and we out of here.
Okay. But it all can work out in the end. For anyone that wants to give up, has lost hope, doesn't know where they're going with it, whatever it is that they're doing. I feel like so many people just tell people to continue to just keep going, don't stop. And it's true, but like have a purpose behind it. Have a want to behind it. Like I don't think that just keep going is the answer. Like it's not just keep going. It's can I come with a purpose? Can I mean what it is I'm saying? Can I put some action into what I want? Like more than anything. And I don't know too many people that actually want to do that. And because there are so many people out here that actually don't want to do that, you find yourself in these positions. But that's why I envy so many different people that are married too, because that to me is somebody putting in that action. And look, it doesn't mean that you have to get married to be successful or anything like that. But I just feel like if people put the want to put the action into what they want to, that it's going to be hard to not find some sort of success, even if it isn't the immediate success that you're looking for. There are so many different avenues and ways for people to accomplish what it is that they want to accomplish. And, it's not just to keep going, don't give up. It is let's put some action into this want.
Well, have you been on Instagram where they tell you like, here's how you can become a millionaire and before the age of 28?
Everybody's shit don't work for them. Like, bro, and I mean, I work because I hate saying I don't work for people. Yeah, I have my own company, but like I work for people. So like I work for people. And I work for the people. I tell you what, I don't work for the people that work for me. I work with them though. We do work together in reality. Like we work together. I'm a coworker. I just don't do what they do. But it's all part of the same company. So we work together. But the people that pay me, that pay them, that ultimately pay them, that's who I work for too. I work for them too. Just like they report to them physically in a location, I report to them
holistically.
Yes, all the way around. And I have way more on the line because I've got more to lose. Like I've got way more to lose and I have money invested in it myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much that goes into it. And I can't let somebody compromise the way that I live. I'm sorry. If it's going to be anyone that does it, it's got to be me. I've got to compromise my own self. I can't let somebody else do it. So like, I would rather fail on my own than have somebody else fuck me over. Like I'm not going to get fucked over by somebody else. I will fuck myself over before I let somebody else fuck me over.
Yeah, no, and that makes perfect sense. And because I know you, I know that. And shout outs to you for continuing to grow.
Quick thing too, and I'll just give you an example of this. I talked to Justice about this. We started barbecuing at about the 4th or 5th inning of the Braves game today.
Okay.
Just a little barbecue, opening day, that Odyssey hat on, a couple of dogs, some chicken. We had a couple burgers out there too, some potatoes and some broccoli. But, just a little barbecue. And he said something. There's a dude. We got some people that just started working for us. And I've dealt with this in the past. But, like, I just hate the bitching, like, low-key. And I kind of lost my composure a little when Justice had brought something up to me again about somebody. But there's people that bank with Chime / AKA Cash Out or whatever. And I guess they get paid early. Maybe they get their checks like 2 days early.
Okay. Or
something. I have no idea. And even this week, I ran my payroll on Monday. And like, I don't work with Chime. I don't work for Chime. I don't do anything for Chime. So I don't know what they do. But stop calling me about seeing it. Your payday is tomorrow, or technically today, right now. That is payday. That's when you're getting paid. You get paid Friday, every Friday. I don't have nothing to do with that. And so now because of this, I'm putting in something new for the next group of people that we hire, because no offense to those people, but I can find somebody else to do what they do, because I've always had to do it. Whether we fired people or they quit, I always find somebody else. So I will find somebody else to replace them. You know what I mean? Like that is a replaceable thing. And I'm not trying to make them feel like they're replaceable, but the reality is we're all replaceable. Our service can get replaced. So they can find somebody else to do what I do. In reality, there's a lot of those different types of companies out there. They stick with me because they fuck with me. But like, I don't bitch to them either. So it's just kind of like one of those things. But that's like a new policy I'm about to put in. I'm going to ask people, just like when I tell them they have to take a drug test and run their background check, I'm going to ask them, I'm going to say, hey, who do you bank with out of curiosity? We do direct deposit, but who do you bank with? If you bank with Chime, if you have an issue, if you're expecting to get paid 2 days early because that's what Chime says, we won't accept you. I'm sorry, you cannot work here. Either that or you need to get a paper check, one or the other, because I can't deal with it anymore. And I'm sorry, somebody else messed it up for the rest of the people. I hope you don't take it that way. We can set you up with, they have these things where you can get these cards if you need it, if you don't have a bank account, like a legitimate bank account. I would much rather you set it up via me as opposed to doing that, because I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I'm getting tired of getting questions about this. Like, because this is so irrelevant to the grand scheme of you getting paid Friday and what it is you're supposed to do and what it is that I'm doing and how I'm supposed to help you. This doesn't have anything to do with any of that. I do my payroll when I get it done. It gets done. As long as you paid Friday, I don't think there should be any questions. Like,
nah, I didn't get paid on Wednesday, bro.
Like, what are we talking about? Like,
nah, hey, look here. Parlay Pete, that's wild.
Just don't
that
like
is
that stuff. Like,
nah, but that's
more pressing things. Like,
that's, you know.
And I get it. They're getting their ass up every day, bro, and they're going into this warehouse. Like, I get that.
Hold on. Before you start to shoot them some bail, you're doing unskilled labor. That's the life you chose. Get a fucking skill. Like, I really hate when we have to give sorrow and condolences and pats on the back for people who chose the road more traveled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't knock you for taking that road, because it's gonna it'll get you there.
Nah, man, we gotta get it set up where this is how we do it.
But if you choose to do what's easy, you get treated like it's easy. The girl who makes you take her on 3 dates, get to know her, and she's actually fun and cool, and then you gotta wait to have sex, versus the girl who lets you have sex with her, then says, hey, I need you to get to know who I am. You treat both of those women differently. And it's not because they're different women at the end of the day, but what you showed up with on day one and what you demanded is different. So, like, hey, dog, if all you can do is what you're told and you have no innovation behind you, have no credentials behind you, like, yeah, bro, get paid on Friday. This is what you're going to get paid on Friday. Non-negotiable. You take it or you leave it. Bye. Because guess what? You're replaceable. You are replaceable. I don't want to tell you you're replaceable, because I don't want you to feel like less than a human being, because it has nothing to do with you as a human. It's all about the business. But hey, Parlay Pete, we've been doing this for 3 hours. It's really time to quit, but I got a couple things for you before we quit. Trump got indicted. First president in United States history to get indicted. A president that you voted for. How does that make you feel?
If he's wrong and he broke the law, then I think that he should go to jail. But I think the reason that he's getting indicted is low-key, I think it's petty. And I think it's kind of bullshit. But, like, and that's not like, oh, support Trump type thing. It's just more of a, like, I can't believe this is what our tax dollars are going to like arrest this nigga over like that like that our tax dollars are paying for this.
I think this is the wrong breakage of the law. I think if they came after him for what he did in Georgia, trying to get find the votes. If that's what you're gonna get him for, hey, we got phone evidence. This nigga really trying to change the whole election. If he broke a law and you can tie it to him, that's the one.
Are they doing this just to embarrass him? Because the reality of it is this: is he really gonna get jail time over this?
Bro, I don't know, because he put out to his people, if they'll come after me, none of you are safe. And that's what scares me, is because people are gonna get behind that message, and it's like, no. The government won't come after you if you're not a criminal. Like if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're fine. But also, there's no precedent for a former president being indicted. But there's also not a track record for a former president to have the same dirty track record that Trump has. And I'm not saying he's guilty, but I'm saying that it makes sense that he got indicted for something.
He's not a politician.
No, he's not. He got caught cooking his books like most business people do, but because he put himself in that political in the political eye, now we can scrutinize what you're doing with your money, because what he's doing is probably, what they do.
Normal business practice.
But because he decided to become a politician, he's getting caught up.
These guys have the best business attorneys and CPAs in the world. And
exactly. So
these people know the law like the back of their fucking hand.
And they know the laws that they can break and get away with. And
are they even breaking laws, or are they just finding the loopholes that nobody else knows about? Like, that's typically really what it is. There are laws set up to where, like, put it this way, technically gambling in Georgia is not legal, but somehow, some way, I'm able to bet whatever I want on Bovada here. But because there's a gray area. There's a gray area to do it. So, like, I'm not breaking the law, like, and nor is anyone else.
No,
there's a gray area to do it because I'm not betting here. I'm here and I'm making bets, but I'm not placing the bets in Georgia. So, like, I'm just saying he does a similar thing with taxes. Like, there are so many different write-offs I have been unaware of, because this stuff, people want to talk about balancing a checkbook and stuff, and just financial literacy being taught. There's little things like that to where if you don't know people that make X amount of dollars, you're not going to know about the laws that are in place. I met someone at the Falcons game in LA. Came cool with. We got dinner twice. Guy's rich. He's a millionaire. Bought T. Grizzly's house. He owns this very popular smoke shops here in Atlanta and in Florida. He's the owner. He owns all of them. He's got like 50-something locations. And his wife is an attorney. They're our age, basically. They're 30, 29, whatever. They're that age. And they let me in on a little secret about stuff. And even I think, hey, actually, you know what? When we were at Tampa, I showed you guys a check that I had received from the government. So a substantial amount of money.
I'm gonna tell you what, that Tampa trip was a blur to me.
This is when we first got there, when we were eating them delicious ass fucking duck wings. Those duck wings were so great. Think about it, we had to go back there a second time.
Hey, can we make Tampa like maybe Falcons Tampa? Can we make like an annual trip, bro? Like,
Go to Burns.
yeah, go to Burns. Maybe we don't get the room, but we just go to Burns.
Yeah, we don't have to do all that. Just get a reservation.
Yeah, bro. Like I just think that's a fun city, but like let's hit a couple other things. Jonathan Majors, Guy and Creed, Ant-Man.
Well, Kang, basically the new villain for the next 5 years of Marvel movies.
Right.
Maybe not like 3, but like still.
And billing himself as like the next black superstar actor in Hollywood. Had the domestic incident with his girlfriend, his white girlfriend. I want to make it like I gotta put that out there, not because I care. I don't like. My wife's Salvadorian, and I know there are black women who care about that, and they can kiss my ass because they can't suck my dick because only.
That's about as caring about the Nashville shooter being.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I can't tell them to suck my dick because only my wife can suck my dick. Like, fuck out of here. But like the point I'm making is like that matters to people. It matters like if you're an accomplished black person, it matters who you decide to lay with. It's like, don't be a hater. I can still care about black people and care about black shit and happen not be with a black woman, but Jonathan Majors has what happened to him, right? His PR team came in and was like, hey, no. They cleaned it up just right.
And then the statement got recanted.
Exactly.
What was said.
Statements got recanted, but then charges still also got pressed. But then text messages get leaked, pretty much like saying that, hey, she's full of shit. I don't know the answer, but what I do know is he's highly valuable. So if he is a domestic abuser, he ain't right now, according to the people who spend the money. But also I found it weird because black Twitter and white Twitter had two different narratives. Like I saw the whole, he's tried to stop her from doing this shit. Then she went crazy. He called the police, blah, blah, blah. Stuff happened. And we talked about in the group text how women get the benefit of the doubt in domestic violence situations.
Oh,
not here to argue whether that's right or wrong. I'm just pointing it out. But then also, like, we're sitting there looking at it, is there's also people who are coming out saying he's been a dick when he's working. He's hard on the staff. He's hard on the other people he's working with. So is this behavior that's consistent with his personality?
How do you bring somebody's professional personality / demeanor to what they do personally?
Can I tell you as somebody who's been a supervisor for damn near 10 years? I'm a moody human being, right? Like, let's start there. I'm a relationship building. I think I get my best work done based on my relationships with people, not based on how good I am about doing shit. Like, if y'all fuck with me, y'all gonna do the work I need y'all to do just because whatever. And y'all care about your job, right? Dog. When people fuck shit up, I have cursed people out like they were my fucking redheaded stepchild who I met yesterday, who fucking pissed on my goddamn brand new Giuseppe loafers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation tomorrow about it. But in that moment, yeah, I've gone the fuck off. So does Jonathan Majors have moments where he probably went the fuck off? Probably.
Christian Bale has a whole video out on YouTube of him like blowing up on someone.
Hey, that
She was like Batman. Do you know what video or audio I'm talking about?
No, but think about that Sark video I sent to the group today about him going off on somebody in the tunnel.
Yeah, but he had just finished drinking, man.
Allegedly. I'm saying that to say that in situations, people act out, and it could be reflective of their character. It may not be, but all I know is it seems like somebody wanted Jonathan Majors to suck him off, and he said, "Hey, Brian, don't that gay shit.
He's like, okay, nigga.
I got something for your ass." But it also tells me why Tyler Perry should pivot away from mainstream Hollywood and use his studio in Atlanta to big up black actors, even more so. Make better movies or hire people to make better movies to where black actors don't have to go to Hollywood and be subjected to the bullshit that goes there. If you don't play ball, you might get hit with a smear campaign. And I'm not saying Jonathan Majors getting hit with a smear campaign. I'm just saying is y'all love this nigga forever. Like y'all love this nigga like 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden he's been toxic for the last 5 years ago. Well, shit, that nigga was toxic 2 weeks ago. Why the fuck y'all had him in Jet Magazine wearing a skirt? You know what I mean? Why y'all put him in Creed if he was on all this other shit? You know what I'm saying? Like
Skirt.
No, but he did like a low key feminine.
We talking about the thing with Michael B. Jordan where they're like,
yeah, them niggas look like they fuck each other. Yeah, hey, Parlay Pete, I would never do a photo shoot like that with you.
I mean, I'm not. I guess I looked at it as I don't know who had the direction on that.
Dog, you're not putting your hands on my shoulder, and I'm gonna put my hands on your shoulder, and we're like not gonna make eye contact. That's not on brand.
I didn't think it was just. I get the what's it said? What would it be? The demasculation of black men, like, or whatever.
Bro, I'm not even on that shit. I just think that shit was weird and unnatural. I ain't getting to the emasculation of black men because that's not in my wheelhouse. I'm not that woke. But hey, look, I'm trying to shut the shit down soon. Question for you. Did you watch Dan Le Batard accuse Stephen A for ruining sports media talk?
I did not see it, but I did read an article on it.
Okay, you read an article on it. I stand with Dan Le Batard. I think Stephen A. Smith is one of the issues with sports talk. I think Stephen A. Smith is he's what political talk is to sports talk. Let me just take my point and run with it and not necessarily look at the other side to see what's the best. And then the spinoff of that are people like Nick Wright who lean on take integrity. Like, hey, I made this take before the season, so I'm gonna stand on it. Well, nigga, you're wrong. It's a bad
They
take.
have turned sports media into reality TV, bro. And that's what makes it so bad.
Hove did.
They've turned it into reality TV because it is I get that it's a business, but it used to just be just that barbershop talk. It used to be more of a, even if we don't agree, let's really challenge this and really deep dive into this, as opposed to let's put together a script where Max Kellerman automatically disagrees with the most outrageous fucking take. Let's put so much energy into creating a clip for Instagram, YouTube, anything else that will make us more money, as opposed to just sitting here and having a legitimate conversation about sports. And if we disagree, we disagree. Now, it doesn't mean that, because think about it. What show do you know where outside of when they talked about DeMar Hamlin, I guess, because everybody fucking agreed and had the same exact sentiments on that.
Except for Skip.
Well, and even he was like, well, which, like you said, we actually understood exactly what he was trying to say. He probably worded it a little poorly. And I tell you what, he didn't even word it poorly. Just was ill time. Just don't bring it up then. But I get it. It was in real time. So he kind of had to say it in real time, or else it wouldn't have made sense any other time to say it. But like, we still understood exactly where it was coming from. Similar to like Kanye when he says certain stuff. And you're like, man, you could have worded that so much better. Like, you know what I mean? Because he can't. But I understand completely what that nigga is saying. But he could just word it better. But it's authentic. It's him. So it's like, he's not, filtered or anything. So, but to get to that point, Skip and Stephen A., I mean, I agree with Levitar. And obviously, does Dan still, because Highly Questionable is not a show anymore. So,
Dan
left ESPN Radio, though. Does he?
I know he left ESPN proper, and he's kind of doing his own thing. And
he still has a radio show because he's like the Miami.
Yeah, he's Miami. But like, I think with the point that Dan was making that Stephen A missed, because Stephen A was so like, who the hell do you think you ought to tell me? Like, well, Stephen A, your response tells me that you think you're more important than you are, because
he's independent. He's got his own thing.
Okay. But it's like, Stephen A, you're covering the athletes. You're not the athlete. So, yeah, shut up.
But so Stephen A was on Levitar's show.
Yeah.
All right.
And essentially what Levitar was saying is, I think what you and Skip did was authentic. The way y'all built it, it was original. It was what y'all were actually debating your sports takes. But now you throw the producers, you throw the money behind it. People are now arguing sports takes that aren't their actual sports takes just for the sake of arguing sports takes, because that makes money. And if you listen to anything that JJ Redick has said about his time on First Take, if you listen to what Perk has said about his time on First Take, that lines up with what Levitar is getting at. Is there's no more journalistic, there's not a journalistic side to these arguments. We are arguing our opinions as if we'll ever get to a resolution. Like, you and I could argue our eye test of Matt Ryan all day, every day. But and I say Matt Ryan because we'll disagree if we just argue eye test, right?
But we can both agree on a lot about it. But and most people, even people that do like Matt, they have different. Justice has a different opinion of Matt Ryan than me.
But then we can start arguing like his accolades and stats and stuff. Some things we will agree on what they mean. Other things we'll disagree on. And we can get to the end of where we find Matt Ryan's career. And we can disagree, but we're going to be disagreeing based upon facts and how we perceive those facts and the precedent before those facts. But we're not gonna have an argument based on our eye test. Like, I'm not gonna argue your eye test. You're not gonna argue my eye test, because we know that's so fucking subjective. There's different parameters, no common ground. Like, we're wasting fucking
different
time.
Angles. I mean,
yeah, bro, it's just it's just wasting time.
That's like being a ref and being like, well, it looked like a foul to me. It looked like a charge to me. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And both people can be right based on the perspective that they had. And I really think that's where Dan Levitar was going with this. Is like, hey, Stephen A, I'm not shitting on you and what you did. I'm shitting on what came from that, because it was so successful. And these stupid suits are lazy, and they just want to they want to just take something that's already created and make it better. We talked Trump. Hey, last thing before we get out of here, real quick. Morehouse had Herbo on campus last week, and the week before they had Wallow. I'm sure that these guys had great information to provide to the students to learn from. But
course
Wallow did 20 years, and G Herbo is a street rapper from Chicago. He doesn't really fit into the mold of niggas who go to Morehouse. He doesn't. What the fuck are they offering? And has Morehouse got so caught up into the liberal social media agenda that they have to bring these types of people in to let the students know that Morehouse is still a good place for education because they're lit. You know what I'm saying? They're in touch. Or maybe, the five whales.
Yeah, they're lit.
But I'm just saying, like, the five whales. As much as that was annoying, and you being from the Atlanta
That was a
area, you
Franklin
remember,
thing, man.
huh?
So that was a Franklin thing.
But yes, it got implemented before you came to Morehouse, and it was on the news. Cause I was in Cartersville and learned about that shit where it's like, oh, no more pajama pants to class, no more do rags to class, like
No more dresses to class.
that too.
I remember seeing that before I got there too.
Bro, yeah, nigga, like I almost didn't go to Morehouse because of the five wheels. I'm like, the fuck y'all got going on campus, nigga? This is a problem, nigga. I ain't think shit like this happened. Bro, I'm from Cartersville, Georgia. This was 2009, so like my brain a little bit different. But point being is I think Morehouse is trying to appeal too much to like liberal jargon and what looks cool by having G Herbo and Wallow coming to like it would appear to be like Crown Forum. And I don't necessarily know that's what's best for the young people moving forward because these are guys who subscribe to street culture. And hey, bro, the day you go to Morehouse, you should give up street culture. I'm not saying you should tell on any and everybody who commits crimes. No, I knew guys who sold weed. I didn't care. I didn't tell on them. Like, no. But you should be looking to build your life outside of this bullshit ass street culture because, like, the locker room, it's a bunch of 6-figure niggas in that group who hang out, have fun, do good shit, and we don't commit a lot of crimes.
Right.
Like, we commit misdemeanors. We like the crimes, the laws we break. People don't even think about them as breaking laws. Like, it's just people having fun, right? That's just kind of like we ain't bothering nobody. We ain't hurt nobody. It's just like to get drunk and have fun.
The right way.
But the right way. So
It looks like he's about to fucking bust on Anthony Richardson the way he's talking about him.
Who is?
Todd McShay. He just looks like he's about to just say, I've got something.
Hove did.
I just don't like how it appears that Morehouse is pushing street culture because that's what is the prevailing narrative in black men's culture, that we have to subscribe to the street shit, and we don't. It's stupid because in the streets, y'all rather dwell with a murderer than dwell with a snitch. Snitches tell the truth about shit that happened. Murderers kill people. I rather a nigga tell a true story about me, whether it's good or bad, but it's the truth, than have to be around somebody who kills. I don't want to be around a murderer. If Parlay Pete was a murderer, we wouldn't do this show. We probably wouldn't be friends. Like, he a killer, cool. I fuck with him. But not like that. I can't be associated.
Yes, I can't be associated with that type of shit. It don't mean I don't like you, don't fuck with you, but I can't fuck with you. Doesn't mean I can't still, like you as a person, but in reality, that's not, for one, I don't support that.
Never will.
You want to know how you know I don't support it? Because I don't do it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that he can't continue to do it, but he needs to do it away from me and not be doing it in front of me. And not be telling me about it and talking to me about it and doing all this other stuff. I can still support it. Not support it, but like I can still
I can still fuck with you. I just can't support your lifestyle. But if you keep doing this, I'm gonna become a snitch. Cause I'm telling.
Right, because then they're gonna start saying that you were hanging around me, and then what am I to do? Act like I don't know anything about it when they already know I know something about it?
Come on now. I'm not going to jail for crimes I'm not involved with. I can't do it. But hey, look here, Parlay Pete, bro. We done 3.5 hours. I've literally been talking to you for like the last 4 hours. It's fucking almost 4 in the morning. Loved it, enjoyed it. Thank you. I apologize for starting so late, but you know,
You're totally fine. We need to figure out next week how what time we're gonna get started, but then two, because what day is next week? I do believe I'm gonna be here. I don't think that I'm gonna be doing because I think the Braves home opener is that day. I don't think I'm going. I would know well before Tuesday.
Let me know because I told Sean to plan for 7:30.
That'll be fine. Like that'll be fine. I don't foresee me going to I just don't want to deal with the traffic, and that's just the honest to God truth. I really don't.
That's the difference between Turner Field and Truist.
Yeah, bro.
But nah, I told Sean 7:30 on Thursday next week.
Okay.
If that changes, let me know as soon as you know, so we can adjust.
All right, let's do it.
All right, dog. Great talking to you. Love you, dog. I will. Hey, not what's tomorrow, bro? I'll be up there next weekend.
Where are you here for next weekend?
Easter.
Are you gonna go to church?
I'm gonna go to church, but Josh Etienne, he's having a baby shower in Atlanta on Saturday.
Oh, she's pregnant?
Yeah, right. Have a kid, yeah.
Oh.
So I'll be up there. We're driving up Thursday night. No, we're
So you're
driving
gonna leave
Friday.
after the podcast.
Huh?
So you're gonna leave after the podcast.
No, I lied. We're driving up Friday morning. I forgot because my mom's gonna be here Thursday. Mom's gonna be here all next week, helping out with the baby.
And then you're gonna ride together.
No, we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna let her go.
Well, not together. I mean, she drove down. So, but I'm saying y'all probably leave at the same time.
No, she's gonna leave Thursday. We're gonna leave Friday morning.
Okay, gotcha.
We just need that one day of separation, at the house, whichever house we're at. But yeah, so listen, I'll be up there next weekend.
All right, well, let's get it done.
All right, doc.
Okay, all right, brother.
Yep. Trying to end the broadcast, boy.